Hello, welcome back to another video. Long time no haul. I feel like I've not done an ALPHALETE review in so long because there hasn't been a drop since like July. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, thumbnail, whatever, is going to be a full review, honest review, as always, my honest thoughts on ALPHALETE's new collection, which is dropping on the 19th, which is this Saturday. My package literally only came in this week, so it's been quite a quick turnaround and a little bit stressful, but it wouldn't be an ALPHALETE launch if it wasn't, so it is what it is. This stuff is dropping on the 19th of October. Code Amy will save you 10% off your entire order and also support me. It helps me out a lot, it helps my relationship with the brand, and if you find my reviews helpful, it means a lot if you do use it because it just helps them to know that you find my reviews helpful and means that I get to keep making them. I have seen they've created like this broadcast channel thing on Instagram and they have teased that they're going to do an early access launch. Now, we've not had any information about that, so if I get any information before the launch about that, which I hopefully will if they are going to do early access, I will pop it in a pinned comment below, or if I get it today whilst I'm editing this video, I will pop it here, but as of right now I don't have that information. And if you do use my code, please message me on Instagram so that I can thank you personally, and also nosy at what you get. I love seeing how either similar or different we are in terms of like colour preferences or like styles that we go for. So yeah, always message me if you use my code so that I can say thank you. And if you've got any questions on the drop, comment them below or message me on Instagram. I get back to all my Instagram DMs because quite frankly it would be rude as fuck not to. So I do make that a priority, and I also just love yapping with the ladies. And also I do always run monthly giveaways for anyone who uses my code. Please send me screenshots of any code uses in the month of October to the email which I will pop on the screen here. Literally any code usage at all in the month of October, and I pick people for gift vouchers at the end of each month. But again, please don't go out and buy something that you don't really want or you wouldn't be buying anyway, just on the off chance you might win a giveaway. The giveaway is solely there for people that were planning on shopping anyway. They wanted to use my code and then they can have a chance of me being able to give back to them, because I wouldn't be in the position that I am or where I am with ALPHALETE without you guys. Like, your guys' support literally has kept me in a job for almost 5 years now with them, which I am forever indebted to you guys for. And I will be doing a much bigger giveaway next month, like more of like a festive giveaway. I've bought some advent calendars to give away, which is so exciting. I got some Space NK ones, and we're just going to do a bigger giveaway next month. Yeah, I can't do those sorts of giveaways every single month because I would be broke. Now, with that being said, something that I know I'm going to get asked about because we're in October now and you guys know what that means. Next month is going to be Black Friday. Usually, and I don't want to jinx myself with this, recently drops haven't been selling out. Certain sizes always sell out, but I think that's just because they don't have those in many quantities. So if you're like a double extra small, a double extra large, the sizes on either side seem to sell out quick because I don't think they stock many of them at all. So if you are those sizes, I wouldn't recommend waiting. I would recommend, if you want something, get it when it drops. But generally speaking, again, please don't hold me to it because this could be the launch where everything starts to sell out again. You never know. Time will tell, but generally things haven't been selling out on the day of launch recently, or selling out for a very long time full stop, especially when it comes to the women's. For the men's, I'm not so sure, but for the women's, things haven't been selling out. So personally, if you are on the fence about something or unsure about something but you might want to try it, it might be worth you waiting until Black Friday. And the truth is, you don't need anything, you don't need any of these pieces. Obviously, if you know you really want something, you're not on the fence about it at all, you may as well get it. You feel like the full price is worth it, you may as well get it with the 10% discount code on launch day, because if you love something, then yeah, if you want it, you can buy it. But for anyone else who's like a little bit tighter on money or you're unsure about the pieces, you might want to wait until Black Friday because it is only a month away. So I would just remind you of that. Also, always a disclaimer, I have a lot of activewear to show you in this video, but this is not normal. You should not be consuming. I don't want to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. You can do whatever you want with your money. It's your business. However, you don't need to consume on this level. If I wasn't doing this for work, I wouldn't have, you know, 4 tiny sports bras, 3 zip sports bras, 3 pairs of leggings, 2 pairs of shorts, loads of different tops, 2 pairs of joggers. I wouldn't do all of that. I'd pick a couple pieces that I like from a launch if I like that launch and get those, but I wouldn't consume on this level. Let's not normalize this. Let's not make out like this is a normal amount of activewear to have. The purpose of me having all these items is so that I can show you all the colours, I can show you how things fit, I can show you multiple sizes, but this is not normal, so please don't ever feel pressure to consume on the same level that an influencer does, or think that that's normal or something that you need to do to be a gym girl, because you absolutely don't. Look after your bank accounts, okay? But yeah, I would say for some of these pieces you can probably wait until Black Friday. Shooting myself in the foot there slightly, probably, but I would rather you guys save more money, look after your pockets, the linings of your pockets. This time of year tends to be a very expensive time of year, so if you can get these and they're still there at a cheaper discount, cheaper price next month, you may as well do that, because it's probably realistically only going to be what, like 4 or 5 weeks away. Let's get into the launch. So I'm going to put the launch PDF here so that you guys can see everything that's dropping. It's men's and women's. They've gone back to combining men's and women's again, which I'm glad that they are like putting them together again now, because I just feel like it makes sense. The women can stick to working on the women's, the men can stick to promoting the men's, and all at the same time, and it doesn't feel sort of as staggered. I do definitely prefer it, but let me know what you guys think, because you might be thinking the total complete opposite. I will pop my measurements on the screen here so that you guys have got my measurements for reference. I literally did these this morning, so these are bang up to date. These are my measurements at the time of trying all these pieces out. If you've any questions on sizing or anything like that, please just message me on Instagram or comment them below and I will help you out. But those are all my up-to-date measurements for reference, so that when I'm going over sizing and stuff, you know what size waist I am, what size glutes I am, what my fit preference is, and all that good stuff, so it can sort of help guide you the opinions and stuff, and if it's going to be as relevant to you, or if you've got a similar build to me, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get into the drop, and I'm gonna go over Tenacity first, because I'm not gonna blue ball you guys. I know that you are probably here and most intrigued for, you might be here for the Mia mesh bra for the shock factor, or you might be a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old man here for the Mia mesh bra. I'm not gonna go over that first, but I do feel like a lot of people have been very intrigued and interested in the leggings. Not so much the shorts, but the leggings and the shorts. So colour palette wise, that's what I wanted to go over with you guys first. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 new colours in this drop, and then there's other colours for, like, for example, the baby tees coming in Brawl, but I'll go over that when I go over the t-shirts. But for the Tenacity line, you've got black, and then you've got 4 new colours. So I've been doing colour comparisons differently for this drop. If you guys find these better or worse, let me know, because you might not like them, but I do feel like it's easier to see where the colours sit in terms of tone and everything compared to the other colours that ALPHALETE have done before. And if there's anything that I learned when doing these colour comparisons, it's that ALPHALETE have got way too many teals. Oh my god. Honestly, ALPHALETE have a lot of like dark blues and teals, like a lot. Light blues not so much, but dark blues and teals, oh my god, like they are a absolute slut for a teal dark blue, because Jesus Christ, there's so fucking many of them. Anyway, Knockout I'm gonna go over first, as I've just mentioned. So Knockout is basically this super pretty deep teal colour. It's very close to colours like Aura Glacial Lake, goes quite well with it, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit lighter and not as rich in colour. It's quite close to Dark Waters and all those sorts of deep tealy shades. It's very, very, very close to, but obviously this is in the Tenacity fabric, so with it being Tenacity fabric, there's no mal to it. These are all solid colours and very matte as well, because it's got that brushed effect to it. In terms of colour pairings for Knockout, I honestly feel like for all the colours in this drop, they look best. Most of them look best tonally, so do refer to the colour comparisons more so for that. But I will pop my colour wheel in here so that you guys can see how these look with some other colours that aren't necessarily blue. Yeah, I do really like this tonally with pretty much any of the blues that ALPHALETE do, and this is definitely one of my favourite colours in this drop. I just feel like it complements my skin quite well and I find it quite flattering on me, whereas for example Sugar, which I'll go over next, this is a very like muted sort of cool tone, dull mauvey purple shade. My Instagram followers messaged me saying it reminds them of ALPHALETE'S Sparrow, and there was a colour that I just could not think of off the top of my head, and it was that one. So I do definitely think that this is very similar to ALPHALETE'S Sparrow, which is a very old colour. I don't have it anymore, but that is what this colour reminds me of. It's very muted, and a lot of people love purple, but I do like purple on myself It really suits me, and every time I wear purple I get compliments, but there's something about this that just washes me out a little bit. I'm not 100% sold on this colour on me. It's definitely not my favourite. Not super saturated, it's more of a like muted, quite dull colour. Yeah, I will pop my colour wheel in here so that you can see what sort of colours it pairs nicely with that aren't purple. Some of them are purple, but other colours that it pairs nicely with. This colour is Sting, and I would say this is my favourite colour in this drop. It's like a true rich copper, but it's not got like the vibrancy of Times Square was too much for a lot of people, and I have to admit I loved it at the time, but since it launched I've barely reached for it because it's so hard to pair, because it's quite stark, and the more I look at Times Square the more I think it's a little bit of an ugly looking colour. This is much prettier and much easier to wear, like much easier to wear. It's not even probably, this is definitely my favourite sort of burnt orange shade that ALPHALETE have ever done. Especially if you've got brown hair. I just feel like brown hair with these like rich coppery tones is really complimentary and really flattering. I really like this colour on me. It definitely looks the best on me in my opinion. I don't know, it's the one that like draws my eyes in the most in this drop, and I will also pop here my colour wheel so that you guys can see ideas of what sort of colours to pair it with. And then finally you've got Grand, so this is just like a rich olive, deep olive green. It's darker than Agave from the last Tenacity drop and not quite as bright. It's definitely deeper, but I wouldn't say it's like super dark like an army green. It's like a rich deep olivey green is how I would describe it, and it is actually different to the other ALPHALETE greens. I would say you will probably prefer Agave if you want something that's a bit more bright. This one is definitely a bit more muted. It's not a bad colour by any means, and I will pop the colour wheel in here. I just don't think that these colours suit me the most, and I don't wear a lot of green. Like I really don't. For I feel like I just associate them with like army stuff, and it's never really been my thing. So my top colours in this drop are definitely Sting and Knockout, but this is the colour lineup altogether just so that you guys can see. And I will pop my lookbook in here, which is where I pick a couple colours from either the colour comparisons or the colour wheels to make a look with, so that you guys can see how well on body these colours mix and match with some previous collections. You might have some of these older bras, older bottoms. I'm also going to include the Brawl Baby Tee in that just because it's quite like a rich brown and it can be quite hard to pair. So I'm going to give you guys some ideas for the Brawl Baby Tee in there as well. But again, just driving home that point that I made at the start about overconsumption, like you do not need to be buying an entire new set. And I'm also not a fan of a matching set. Sometimes I'll wear them, but more times than not, I'm in a tonal set or like two completely different colours but that look good together, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's also a little bit selfish because it gives me some gym outfit inspo, but yeah, just a reminder, you don't need to buy a full new set on every single drop. These colours do pair quite well with a lot of the other either same shades that ALPHALETE have done before but like a little bit different, or just different colours that they already have, and hopefully you guys will have as well. So yeah, I will pop the lookbook in here. Lookbook time. So this is Knockout paired with Aura, Glacial Lake and Glacial Print, which I really like, and then with Skyscraper I think it goes well with dark greys, and then also paired it with the Galactic Ocean Amplify. This is Sugar with Aura Porcelain, which I love. I then really like it with Noble Green because they're both quite like muted tones. I then put it with Grand Central as well. I feel like Grand Central or a nudie tone just goes with anything. I've then put Grand Central with Sting, which I love together. I also put Sting with Noble Green. I feel like rusty oranges and greens tend to go quite well. And then with Pulse Tartan Red for like a little bit more of a pop on the top. Then with Grand, I put it with Grand Central, Grand on Grand. I also put it with Aster, which I really like. I really like purple and green together. I also put it with Cashmere. It's giving tree, it's giving forest, it's giving fall. Then the Brawl Baby Tee goes really well with Sangria. Sangria is definitely more red. Brawl is brown, but it's a very warm brown. I love it with Grand Central. Like, I actually really like this together. I think this looks really good. And then I also put it with Sting because warm brown, warm orange, stunning. Okay, so I'm going to go over the leggings first, but first of all I just want to give a quick rundown on fabric. Now if you want a deep dive on Tenacity fabric, please go and watch my first Tenacity review, which I will leave linked below with a timestamp to where I talk about fabric. I compare it to Buff Bunny, Honor Active, Paragon. I think there are some other brands in there as well which I've compared it to, like cut and sew fabrics and all the previous ALPHALETE fabrics. I'm not going to do it in depth again just because I've already done it and it's already up on my channel, so go and check that out. But just to run you through the fabric very quickly now, I'm slightly confused because Tenacity is meant to be 75 nylon, 25% spandex. However, the label on all my items this time around says 70-30, so it's not 75-25, it all says 70-30, which I feel like the label should be more correct than the PDF, but I'm just a bit confused because I don't understand why there's a discrepancy between what it should be and what it was the past two drops and what it's saying on the label this time round. Having said that, I just wanted to point that out in case anyone orders and then they're like, the label is saying different to what you said it was. I'm telling you what the label says, and the label says 70-30, but ALPHALETE and previous items said 75-25. So I don't know if there's just been like a fuck up with the printing, because honestly, the fabric feels the exact same as the past two Tenacity drops. So if you've got Tenacity, it feels the exact same. As opposed to Aura, which is very lightweight and very stretchy, Tenacity is denser and it's tighter woven. So it's a dense brushed fabric, and the only way that I can describe this now that we have it in like a full bottom, like the leggings where it goes all the way up my leg, is that this fabric honestly feels like a warm hug on the leg, especially with the compression that you get with Tenacity. It's much more of a warm hug than Aura, because Aura, I mean, it's a nice warm hug, you know, it's brushed. Aura is nice, it's soft, it's stretchy, but because this has that tighter woven, denser fabric and more compression to it, just feels more like a warm hug. Now, with that being said, fabric wise, I don't think you're either an Aura person or a Tenacity person, because I like Aura and I also like Tenacity. However, if you like Aura because you hate compression, don't like it whatsoever, can't stand it, you love how like thin Aura is and how stretchy it is and how low compression it is, you won't like Tenacity because it fits much tighter. It's like the sizing and stuff when you flat lay it all looks the same as Aura. It's very close to Aura in that respect. However, it fits a lot tighter, lot denser, lot more compressive. So just keep that in mind. And just like on the other end of the scale, if you didn't like Aura because you found it was too low compression, it bagged out on you, you need something that's going to make you feel a bit more held in, you will prefer Tenacity. Have extreme preferences on either side, you will prefer one or the other. For me personally, I like Aura for hot yoga classes, I like it for day to day when I want to be super comfortable. I like Tenacity, in fact I love Tenacity. These core leggings are going to be rinsed and repeated for me. I love that for when I'm wanting something that just feels a little bit more held in. I don't train in leggings, so I'm still not going to really be training in them, but I do like Tenacity for when I want, for example, if I'm running errands all day and I want to just feel a bit more held in, I don't want necessarily like extreme comfort, I want that warm hug feeling on my leg. If I'm going for like a walk, I've noticed these are a lot warmer. Tenacity is a lot warmer of a legging than Aura is. I'm still confused as fuck by the labels, but it does feel the exact same as the past two Tenacity drops. Sweatproof, this is not a sweatproof fabric. I've done hot yoga in it. I have actually done weights in it as well in the Tenacity fabric, and it does show sweat. However, it does dry very quickly. Aura, I find, just gets piss wet through and takes ages to dry. This, however, I do find to be a lot more sweat wicking. It's not sweat proof, but it does dry a lot quicker. And in terms of pilling, this does still have that brushness to it. It's not like a performance fabric. I would say this sits in the middle of like lounge yoga and performance. It's not true performance because it's still got that brushing to it, and I feel like for true performance you just need slick. Like you need something slick, you need something tight, that's not going to move. You're not going to have to play around with it. Alphalete don't have a fabric like that at the moment. The closest was probably Pulse, but they don't do that anymore. This sits slap bang in the middle in my opinion. It's not truly lounge because it's, you know, a bit more compressive, but it's still got that brushed feeling, so it's not true compression. It sort of sits slap bang in the middle in my opinion in terms of purpose and intention, but you can train in it and you also can lounge in it. I just wouldn't say it's necessarily going to be the most comfortable for lounging if you're putting it next to Aura, nor is it going to be the most suitable for performance if you were to put it next to like a Nike Pro sort of fabric. So yeah, in terms of pilling, this is going to pill and it is at risk of pilling. I have actually pilled my agave bikers from the last drop from doing hot yoga, which I'm kind of confused about because I don't really know how I've done that. I think I've rubbed like the bum of them against one of the like foam blocks and it's like caught it, so it will pill. It's not like completely performance proof, but I do find it doesn't pill as quick as Aura did, but it will pill over time, so do be aware of that. I wouldn't recommend that you're like scooching your cooch across the turf in the gym in these. Like a general gym workout you would be semi-okay with. I would just be cautious about what you're sort of brushing up against and all that sort of stuff. Okay, to get on to the core bottoms. So I will pop on the screen the colours that these are coming in. It's coming in all of the colours and you've got 2 options in this drop. I wish we had 3. I think we needed 3, but it's okay. It's the first drop of the core bottoms and I'm glad they've at least given us a short and a legging. Like they have done drops before where they've just done shorts or they've just done leggings, so I'm glad that they've done that, but I do think we needed a longer inseam option. So with that being said, you've got a legging which Alphalete have said is 27.25 inches inseam. All my leggings are 27 inches. It's neither here nor there, to be honest. It's not like a huge difference and that probably would put it within tolerance, but just to let you know, mine have all measured 27 inches, not 27.25, which is a pretty standard inseam for a legging. And then in terms of the shorts, those are a 4.5 inch inseam. So if you remember Aura, that came in 5 inches and then it followed up in 9 inches. So Aura is longer, but when I go on to the shorts, I'll explain that these actually are a bit more appropriate than Aura was, and I will explain why when I go on to that. But yeah, you've got a 4.5 inch inseam short and a 27.25 inch inseam legging. So I'm going to go over the details really quick because the details are the same for both of them. You just have a legging version and then you have a short version. So we've got the Tenacity fabric, obviously. Something to know about the fabric is sometimes the pieces do come, like my Sugar ones came, with these sort of like marks and lines in, but I know from my Tenacity pieces before, it comes off as soon as you put it in the wash. So if your pieces come sort of, it almost looks a bit like chalky. I think it's just from where it's been folded because it's so brushed. Wash it and it comes out, like it's not like a stain or anything like that. So details wise, I'll go over like rise and sizing and everything separately. I just want to show you the details. You have a slightly like dipped V in the front waistband. It's obviously straight across at the top and slightly lower at the front compared to the back. But yeah, the seam here sort of dips down a little bit, whereas for example with Aura, it's straight across. You've then got the same seams as Aura, but they are actually slightly different. So it runs onto the top of the waistband and then it curves around the side of the leg. And I'll show you when I go over comparisons, but this one's actually like shifted forward. Doesn't come in as far on the waist either. The Aura ones sit more like this. These ones are a bit further out, but then as it sits down the leg, it's closer to the front than the back. It doesn't seem like it curves as extremely. The waistband is double layered, the leg is single layered. You have an extended gusset on the inside, so there's no like triangle or anything like that. This is a lot thicker than the Aura one, for example. It does have a slightly wider extended gusset, so there's no triangle gusset, no oval gusset, which with cut and sew, I do generally prefer the extended gusset, so I'm glad that they did that. Because even though these do give me a camel toe, and I will get onto that, I do find that with an extended gusset it's less than it is when they've done cut and sew products where they've done like a triangle or an oval. It's just, yeah. Rise at the front is 8 inches, so it's more of like a lower rise than Aura. I would say on me, some of the colours are a mid-rise, some of them are a high-rise, which I'll get onto when I go over rise, but mid to high-rise depending on your torso length. Obviously, if you've got a super short torso, it's going to be more like mid to high, but this isn't going to be like ultra high rise on anyone. It's not an ultra high rise legging, not like Aura would have been. Then around the back you do actually have a seam around the top of the waistband like you did with the underwear line Tenacity shorts, but it only comes to where this seam is on the waistband, and then it stops, and then this is just double layered. There's no seam at the top, seam around the back, no seam around the front. You've just got the rubber raised logo ALPHALETE on the back, and it's tonal on all the pieces, which I love. The bum top then comes into like, it's not a deep V seam, but it's a slightly curved V seam. And then you have a hidden scrunch, which I'll go over in more detail when I get onto it. But this is how the hidden scrunch looks on the outside, and this is how the hidden scrunch looks on the inside. Sometimes with a hidden scrunch they'll put like a panel of like elastic actually on top of it as well. They've not done that with this one, which I actually prefer because I've tried that, I think, on a Skims piece, and it was really uncomfortable. Can't tell, like, it's not wrinkled when it's on body. But yeah, this is their first hidden scrunch, and I'll go over that in a lot more detail, but it's on the shorts and the leggings. And then yeah, the leggings come into a 27-inch inseam. I find these like perfectly fine, pretty much full length. They hit like just above the ankle on me, which is fine. I always wear socks over the bottom of my leggings anyway, so the length of those is fine on me. Obviously the shorts, it's the exact same details again, but obviously these are a 4.5-inch inseam, so they're not full length and they're not a biker. But just to show you how the seam is on the bottom of the shorts, it's not like a super tight seam, but it is a proper seam. ALPHALETE have done shorts before where they've done more of like a flat lock seam where you can't, it looks like there's no seam on it, but there actually is. This is just like a standard proper seaming on the bottom of the shorts. So yeah, those are the details, just to run you over those really quick. So with this being ALPHALETE's first hidden scrunch legging, I wanted to go over that a little bit first. So like I've just shown you, that's how the hidden scrunch looks. And to be honest, I was like curious as to whether this would sort of flatten out over time or just like completely unravel. And truly, I got my package on Monday and the launch is on Saturday. So even if I'd worn them every day and posted my review on Saturday, it's not enough time. I'm gonna see how these like wear and tear truly, because I'm gonna be wearing the shit out of them over the next month, sort of day to day, and I'll definitely update you before Black Friday. But I have worn the black pair every single day, like day in, day out. Like I've probably worn these a total of over like 15 hours since I got them. And it's still very much giving the hidden scrunch. It's not unraveled, it's not popped or anything like that, so it's held up pretty well. So with the hidden scrunch, it basically just has elastic on the inside of it. So as you can see here, if I like pull on this, it's super stretchy, whereas if I show you, can you see how that doesn't have any give whatsoever? There's no elastic on the glute seam on Aura, whereas with the hidden scrunch on Tenacity, this is how hidden scrunches work if you were curious. There is elastic on the inside, so it sort of stretches like this. Now the point of a hidden scrunch is it's not going to be like Amplify where it's like obvious and you can see it from the outside. It shouldn't be anyway, in my opinion, if it's done right. A lot of brands say they've done a hidden scrunch and what they've really given you is a cat's arsehole on your ass and it looks awful. But what it should do is just give you a little bit of glute separation. It shouldn't feel like too much, and it's not gonna look like a scrunch, or at least it shouldn't look like a scrunch from the outside looking in. You'll know you've got a hidden scrunch on, but to everyone else it just looks like the leggings are sitting well and they're giving you that sort of glute separation look that you want. This hidden scrunch is up there with the Paragon sculpt seam for me in terms of how well it works on me, but I actually prefer these because I way prefer the Tenacity fabric. The Paragon fabric that I've tried on the sculpt seam is just very thin and very low compression, and I don't find it that flattering on me. So I prefer this because Tenacity is much denser and it's much higher compression, and I feel like with that, coupled with like the hidden scrunch, you get a lot more of lifting on the glutes. I mentioned this in my last Tenacity review with the underwear line. You get a lot more lift, in my opinion, once the compressive fabric has molded to you. At first it might feel like it's flattening you, but then once it's molded to you, which Tenacity definitely does and these leggings 100% do, you get more lift because it's sort of pushing your glutes up rather than just sitting on top of them. It feels like it's giving you a little bit more of a, whereas I don't get that with the Paragon. However, their hidden scrunch is one of the best I've tried, the sculpt seam, and this very much reminds me of that Honestly, it's the most similar to that one. I way prefer it too. I'll pop some comparisons in. So I do definitely think that this works just as well as the Paragon one on me, in my opinion, but I actually prefer this because I like compression. So I prefer it because I love the Tenacity fabric for that reason. Way better than the Buff Bunny Aggressive Scrunch, which I know a lot of people love, but on me, it looks quite wrinkly and I find that it sits quite high on my glutes. Again, I don't know if it's just because the butter fabric that it comes in is so thin and stretchy, but that doesn't look anywhere near as good or as flattering or feel as effective as this one does. And with the Buff Bunny Aggressive Scrunch, which I find with a lot of hidden scrunchies, I get the worst camel toe. I don't know if it's the fabric and the hidden scrunch, but I find that sometimes a hidden scrunch can really just get everything all up there, and then because it's pulling so much from the back, it's so uncomfortable in the front, and I feel so uncomfortable in the aggressive scrunch for that reason, because I just find the camel toe to be way too much. So yeah, I prefer it to the Buff Bunny Aggressive Scrunch, and this is way better than Crop Shop Boutique's Hidden Scrunch, which honestly is the worst one I've tried. That looks like a puckered cat's arsehole on body. It looks awful. It's not flattering, and I don't feel like it actually does any hidden scrunch thing. If anything, it just looks like I've got a weird seam on my ass. So yeah, in terms of hidden scrunchies, I actually do really like this, but don't think hidden scrunch and think same effect as Amplify, but it's just hidden. It is more subtle. It's not like right up the arse crack like Amplify is, but if you're wanting something that's going to be a bit more glute flattering than something without a hidden scrunch, but not as much as Amplify, or like, you know, all those sorts of leggings with this like more intense scrunch bum, I do think you will really like this. But if you are looking for the same effect of Amplify, you're not going to get that with a hidden scrunch. It's this different sort of look. Obviously, because it's got that elastic in it, it's quite a thick seam. Like, it's, in terms of like how flat it is as well, it's not completely flat. And I do find that I feel this, for example, more than Aura. Now, obviously that's bound to happen because Aura doesn't have the hidden scrunch. It's a much thinner seam down the back of it. It's not uncomfortable to the point where it's unwearable, but it's not as comfortable as Aura. So if you don't like being able, this feels really weird, but if you don't like being able to feel something kind of up your ass, you might not like these and you might find it quite uncomfortable. But I think because I'm so used to wearing Amplify literally like inside my internal organs, so far up my arse, like could not get further up there, I feel like I'm kind of desensitized to it. So I don't mind it, but I do think it's noticeable, and I do want to mention it just in case anyone is particularly sensitive about how things feel down there. The other thing that I want to mention, because I feel like it goes hand in hand with this, is the sort of like gusset region and camel toe in the Tenacity. I don't find it as bad in the shorts, but I do find with the leggings, for some reason, I think it's because it's such a tight, densely woven fabric and it's got to really stretch up my legs, so maybe I'm like trying to pull them up more than I do with the shorts, and they fit tighter than the shorts do. I find my camel toe situation to be worse in the leggings than the shorts. It just feels quite tight on the crotch region. Now again, it's not to the point where I'm like, get these off my body, it's super uncomfortable, but it is notable. And if you are sensitive down there to these sorts of feelings and sensations, again, you might not like it. It is quite snug feeling down there. I don't know, because some people don't even get a camel toe with Aura. I think I've come to the conclusion I am just prone to camel toe. So I would like to point out, I do think I'm quite prone to it. So if you are prone to it, heed what I'm saying, take the advice. If you're not prone to it, you might be fine, but I tend to get camel toe in all cut and sew products. Like, they all give me a camel toe. The only ones I don't get camel toe in generally is seamless, but with all cut and sew I tend to get a little bit of a hoof going on, you know. Big fanny gang unite, do you know what I mean? BFG. I don't even feel like I have like a massive fanny. I am just the way I'm built. I guess I'm just more camel toe inclined. I don't know. It feels very uncomfortable talking about that, but I'm trying to help the girls, you know. And I think it's a mixture of things. I think it's because I'm a little bit taller, so I'm probably pulling them up more. Obviously Tenacity is a much tighter fabric than Aura, for example, so it just fits a lot snugger around like the sort of hip region. You've then got the hidden scrunch, which is sort of like yanking things up and back a little bit at the back. Not like uncomfortable, but I do find I am a bit more camel toe prone in these. And I also do find with the extended gusset being a little bit wider, I feel like it shifts forward a little bit on my body, and you can sort of see it a little bit more because it's wider than the Aura one. I don't notice that I necessarily see that gusset as much with Aura one, which is strange because you'd think with the hidden scrunch it's going to shift it back, but I think the amount that the hidden scrunch is shifting it back, like enough for how much wider the extended gusset is. So I do find that on me, the leggings in particular, I do get camel toe in the shorts as well, but the leggings in particular are quite camel toe prone on me. It's not to the point where I won't wear it, but it is to the point where I do think it's worth noticing. So I do get a camel toe in these, but I'm not, unless it's like really uncomfortable and like molding to me and like splitting me in half, I'm not arsed, because I'm sorry, but if a man was walking around in compression tights, you're gonna be able to see his dick. Like, that is just, if you're wearing something tight around your genitals, is it gonna mold to your genitals? Probably. Okay, now let's go over the rise of these. So these are being marketed as like a mid to high rise. I generally have a bit of a longer torso, but also it's not necessarily I have a longer torso. My belly button sits higher than most people's, like my cradle is longer. I think that's the way that it was explained to me. My cradle is longer than most people's and my belly button sits higher. Context, that's how I'm built, and I'm 5'6", so I am in Alphalete's world, I'm a fucking giant. Oh my god, when I go to Houston, I literally cast a shadow because I'm just so tall. It's so weird to me because in the UK and like amongst my friends, I'm not tall. I feel like I'm normal height, but every time I go to America, I feel like Kendall Jenner. I feel so tall, and everyone is like, oh my god, like you're so tall. And that is just not something I ever hear back home. Like, I always find that just so fascinating to me. I do feel like I need to preface this with saying my preferences recently have definitely shifted, and I am more open, not fully open, Alphalete, don't take all my high-rise options away from me, please. But I am definitely more open to more of a mid to high-rise. I wouldn't say I'm open to a true mid-rise, honestly, truly. My body has changed in the past few years. I've gained weight, I'm not necessarily as lean as I used to be, and sometimes, especially if something is super compressive, it being so high-rise is just not that flattering. Like, it's not that flattering, so I am more open to that now. But I would say on me, these fit like a true mid to high rise. They hit like pretty much bang on belly button high. The weird thing is that usually black tends to run the tightest in anything, and typically like that would then make something sit a lot lower on me. However, and I've tried to wear sugar just as much as I've worn the black to see if I've like just stretched it out and it's like molded out more to me, but I do find the black is sitting a little bit higher on me. I've measured these, like I've looked at them with a fine-tooth comb, and there is no difference, but for some reason the sugar is sitting, I would probably say about 1/2 inch to 0.75 inches lower on me in the leggings. So I do find that quite interesting. They're the same size as well, but the black sits higher. I prefer where the black sits. I find that with the black, I can pull it up to cover just past my belly button, and I love where this sits. With the sugar, I'll be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of where this hits. If half my belly button's out, it just looks a little bit funky. So I'm not really sure what's gone on there, but just be aware there may be a difference in how the colours sit on you in terms of torso length, even if they look the same. I feel like sugar just feels, for whatever reason, more tightly woven down my leg, and so I can't pull it up as much. Like, I just like I can try, but it just pings back down. So with the black, I actually much prefer how this rise hits. Honestly, I feel like if all of these hit the same way that sugar does on me, I wouldn't love them as much, but I love the way that the black sits on me. And in terms of the shorts, I find that these sit a little bit higher on me. They measure the exact same, but I just find that they sit a bit higher. I feel like because the fabric isn't being stretched all the way down my leg, maybe I'm just able to pull it up a bit more. So I do find that these hit honestly just like a standard high rise on me for the shorts. The leggings, the tightness of the leg is probably just pulling it down a bit more, but with the shorts, I do find that even though they measure the same, they are able to cover up a little bit more of my belly button. So yeah, rise wise, I would say mid to high rise depending on your height and your torso length, and also how big your thighs and lower body is, because if you've got super thick thighs, it's going to take up a lot more of the fabric, and you're probably not going to be able to pull these up as much, which brings me on to the impact. I'm not going to go oversizing completely, but the impact sizing has on rise. If you size down, you do get less rise. I'll pop in some measurement examples here so that you can see. The extra small legging is definitely lower rise, 100% for sure. Measures lower and it sits lower. The small sits slightly higher. With the shorts, the medium has a higher rise than the size small short does. So sizing up or down does impact the rise as well, so you might want to factor that in. And I would say that with Tenacity, you can size up if you want to. It's not going to be hanging off you because it is more of a compressive fabric. You don't have to, and I'll get onto sizing in a second, but if you're taller and you've got thicker thighs and you want them to sit a bit higher, I would recommend trying to size up just for rise purposes. As I'm on the topic of rises, I feel like we may as well go over this versus Aura. So like I explained before, totally different fabric, totally different fit. If you love Aura and hate anything non-Aura because you just love how low compression that is, you won't like this. If you didn't like Aura because you found it was too low compression for you and you just weren't a big fan of it, then you will prefer Tenacity. I don't think you have to be an either or, but if you fall very firmly into I only want compression or I only want low compression, you will either be Tenacity or you will be Aura. Yeah, they are a very similar design. These are 1 inch lower in rise. These are 8 inch, Aura is 9 inches. The side detail is similar, but as I'm going to show you, it's not the exact same. This one sort of is shifted forward a bit more. It doesn't curve quite as far back. I like both, to be honest. I don't think one is like way more flattering than the other. I think both look fine. I also got asked about this with Aura, and I've been asked about it with this again. Do I think that this shape accentuates hip dips? I've got hip dips and I don't find that it highlights my hip dips at all. I feel like it looks really good on both Aura and on Tenacity. Obviously you've got the difference in the waistband, so the waistband on this is shorter as well as the overall rise being shorter, and also the seams that come in, they are much more wide on Tenacity, they come in much more narrowly on Aura. Flat lay, for me, these were honestly the exact same as Aura, but that's why flat lays and measurements aren't important or aren't really relevant without context, because these fit a lot tighter than Aura does. Aura, for reference, I go down to an extra small. The pewter leggings that I'm showing you are a size small, just for reference, because I wanted to compare it to a small Tenacity, but I do go down to an extra small in my Aura. I could honestly wear a double extra small in Aura, it's that stretchy. With Tenacity, it's much more true to size, or if you are between sizes, you're going to want to size up. I would not recommend anyone, I don't care how you build, I wouldn't recommend anyone size down in Tenacity bottoms. They are tight, much tighter than Aura. So if you were having to size down in Aura, don't size down in this, just go true to size. And if you're between sizes, I would size up. That's the difference in sizing. Even though they look similar, the fit, totally different. These are obviously more of a mid-rise. Aura was honestly, because of how stretchy it was, coupled with the 9 inch front rise, that was like ultra high rise on shorter people. On me, just like a true sort of high rise. And then moving into the sort of back of the legging, these have got a much shorter waistband in the back. These have obviously got that seam around the back as well, which, to be honest, I wish they'd get rid of. I'm gonna go over comparisons to Surface and Wonder and stuff after I've done this one, but I found when looking at the try-on clips, when it's on, I can't feel it and it doesn't bother me. But when I was looking at the try-on clips, it's not lying as flat on my skin as like Surface did or Aura did. It looks like it's digging in. Now, I can't feel it doing that, but now that I can see it in the try-on clips, I don't feel like it looks as flattering as if it just wasn't there. Like you'll see in a second, but Surface just looks so smooth on the waist in comparison. So yeah, this has got that back seam on the inside, no front seam. Aura didn't have any of that. There's no seam at all the way around. Aura had a 6 inch glute seam, so a very long glute seam, and an 11 inch total back rise. The new ones have got a 4.5 inch glute seam and a 8.75 inch total rise. Now that does vary a little bit depending on the size and stuff. So for example, a medium shorts had 5 inches glute seam, 9 inch back rise, and an extra small legging had a 4 inch glute seam, 8.25 inch back rise. So things vary by like 0.5 inches depending on sizing, 0.25 to 0.5 inches. If you size up, you're going to get a little bit more rise and a little bit more room for your glutes. If you size down, which I wouldn't recommend that you do, you're going to get less room for your glutes and less rise. So I would say to stay true to size, or size up based off that. But yeah, the back of them is very different. The seam isn't as long. You've obviously got a hidden scrunch on this. You don't have a hidden scrunch on Aura. I would say these are superior in terms of glute flatteriness. They're a lot more glute flattering, whether it's the shorts or the leggings. I find both of them to be much more glute flattering. And yeah, just in terms of like the shorts as well, obviously these are a 0.5 inch shorter in terms of the inseam, but because Tenacity is denser and it's more tightly woven, these appear and feel longer than Aura did, because Aura is just too, it's not loose, but it's just too low compression. It doesn't stay in place. Aura 5 inch, I actually just cannot really train in because it will ping up over my arse. These are tight enough to the point where they don't dig in on your thigh at the bottom, but they dig in enough that they don't actually ping up and roll over your bum. I thought that they would, but they don't. Like, your bum will catch it because it is a bit of a denser, thicker, tighter fabric. So even though they are 0.5 inch shorter, in practicality these actually work better than the Aura ones. Still not my favourite because they're just too short for me, but I would have loved to have seen these in a biker. I feel like this in a biker we need, because that would easily be ALPHALETE'S most flattering cut and sew short that they've ever done. But yeah, if you were curious how the shorts compare to Aura, all the same details that I've just gone over. They do roll just like Aura did, but I would say they are a safer option despite being 1/2 inch shorter, because when they roll they get caught under your ass. They have enough compression basically to not reveal the bottom of your ass cheek. So yeah, those are the differences between Aura and the new core Tenacity bottoms. Whether it's shorts or leggings, those are the differences. And then, just in case you guys haven't tried Aura or you've not shopped in a while but you've tried Essentials, Wonder, Surface, just to compare, I'm going to pop some pictures on the screen so that you guys can see the back rise. The glute seam length on a size small Wonder and a size small in the new core range is 4.5 inches. So that is actually the exact same as Wonder. These just have like a much shorter waistband on top of that, which means that these do actually sit an inch lower in terms of back rise, which again I'll have diagrammed. And then in terms of compared to the Surface was a 5 inch glute seam with a 9.75 inch back rise. These new ones are a 4.5 inch glute seam with 8.75 inch back rise. So again, 1/2 inch less in the glutes and also an inch less in the total back rise. So they sit lower on the body. And then Essentials, those were quite similar to Aura, very long glute seam, 6 inches, 11.25 inches total back rise. So these are closest to Surface and Wonder, but closest to Wonder in total. And obviously these have got a hidden scrunch, none of those pieces did, but I would say they look quite similar on body, like, because again you can't tell that there's a hidden scrunch, and Wonder in particular did quite a good job of actually giving you that glute separation. So there isn't like a ton of difference other than the fact that this is a hidden scrunch, but it looks very similar to Wonder in terms of how it's sort of sitting on the glutes. But hopefully you can see now when I'm showing you that back seam that's running around the back of the legging and the short in like the top of the waistband. I just don't really think we need it. I know that it's probably meant to be there to like the back up when you're squatting, but honestly when I squat in Surface and Wonder and stuff, I don't notice like a ton of gaping anyway. And just like looking at it visually when I've looked at my try on clips, I cannot deny that Surface and Wonder look better, like they look smoother and it doesn't look like it's digging in. Like I said, I can't feel it digging in on me, but it's very visible when I'm looking at the try on clips and I don't think it's that flattering. So yeah, I do actually prefer that element, but it's most similar, if you were curious, to Surface and Wonder in terms of how it sits on the glutes. And in terms of front rise as well, it's most similar to Wonder. Wonder was 8 inches and these are also 8 inches. So if you liked how Wonder sat, you will probably like how this sits as well. If you were watching my reviews at the time, you'll remember how much I hated ALPHALETE'S Wonder, but that was very much when I was in a phase of being obsessed with ultra high rise. Like, I loved my Essential leggings, whereas now, like I said, my preferences have shifted slightly and I'm more open to a mid to high rise. So yeah, the rise on the front is the same as Wonder, but I would say, especially in the sugar leggings like I've mentioned, they just sit lower. Like there's something about the sugar colour that's just sitting lower on my body. It measures the same, I just feel like it fits a bit snugger, so I can't pull it up as much, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like maybe I should have tried a medium to see if that made a difference in that colour, but we're 2 days away from the launch, so, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Maybe I will just buy that and I'll update you before Black Friday. I'm gonna do that because I want spice in the leggings, so I'll buy with you guys on Saturday. We'll do that. In terms of squat proofness, I find these to be incredibly squat proof. I personally would say you are safe in all of these, whether you've got thigh tattoos, glute tattoos. They're not 100% squat proof, like when pressed to the absolute limit, denser fabric. So honestly, I'm fine with all these in terms of squat proofness. In terms of cellulite, I find Tenacity to be much more cellulite friendly because it's a denser fabric, it's not thin, and it doesn't show as much as Aura does in my opinion. I feel like Tenacity is much more cellulite friendly for anyone who is curious about that. Rolling in terms of the shorts, just to go over that really quickly, these do roll, sizing up doesn't help. It still rolls just as much, so these do roll at the bottom. Again, like I've mentioned, it's not to the point where it's going to ping up over your ass, because especially if you stay true to size, you will find that it gets caught under your bum, especially if you've got sizable glutes. If you're a bit smaller, maybe it will roll up over your bum, but these do roll, and they're only a 4.5 inch inseam. So for me, I don't really like the shorts that much. I much prefer the leggings. I need these in a biker. Cut and sew in short inseams just doesn't work for me. It rolls too much, and I would just need these in a biker. Now, in terms of rolling of the waistband and slipping down, these do roll slightly on the waistband, but on me, it's nothing crazy. Now, I know that I saw Catherine mention that they slipped down on her a lot and they were rolling a lot of the waistband, but I think it depends how your torso is built. Catherine is very hourglass, but very narrowly smooth, whereas I'm a bit more like, I come in at the waist, but I'm quite like angular, if that makes sense. Like my hips joll out a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like I don't really have that smoothness. I'm more sort of in at the waist, like out at the hip, if that makes sense. I feel like my hips maybe sit a bit higher and they're just a bit more prominent, and I find on me these don't roll to a point on the waistband where I won't wear them or it irritates me. I find with all cut and sew products, because the waistband is thinner, it just rolls. Like I've never found a cut and sew legging that doesn't roll at the waistband for me personally, other than maybe the Wonder, because that's quite like a thicker waistband. But Aura rolls at the waist on me, these roll at the waist on me, Surface rolled at the waist on me, but it's nothing to the point where like it's unwearable for me. I have also found as well, because these are a much denser fabric, once they're on, and I don't really have to readjust them much. The only readjusting I'm doing is pulling them out of my vagina to relieve the camel toe. That's the only readjusting I'm doing. I don't find that these slip down on me. I don't find that I'm constantly having to re-hike them up like I am with Aura, for example. With Aura, that bags out on me. Even in an extra small, the knee bags out. I wore the black leggings the other day to go on a walk in and run errands in. I had them on for about 5 hours. They didn't bag out around the knee on me at all, and I've still not actually washed these yet. I've washed the sugar ones, but I've not actually washed these yet, and I put them on for a third time earlier before I started filming this, just to check if they've started bagging out, and they haven't. Like these don't bag out like Aura did, so if that was something that annoyed you with Aura, or you found you had to pull it up a lot, with Tenacity nowhere near as much. I don't find I have to pull these up at all. But yeah, these don't really slide down on me, and they don't bag out like Aura does through the day, so they definitely retain their shape on body. In terms of washing instructions for these, like I said, Tenacity is like a brushed fabric, so please make sure that you wash it on a colder wash. You're going to wash it with similar fabrics. Don't put it in, for example, with denim jeans, because then the denim is going to be rubbing against the fabric, so do be mindful of that. And I have found that with washing, they do become slightly less soft, but they're still brushed. Like they're still very much a brushed feeling. It doesn't feel like a slick performance fabric or really rough, but the brushing does become less soft over time with washing, but it's nothing crazy, and they always maintain a level of softness. They just become slightly less soft over time. Now, in terms of sizing for these, for me Personally, I would stick true to size. If you are similar build to me, I would stick true to size. The one thing I would categorically say to no one is to size down. If you are between sizes with this, size up. You do not want to size down in this. Shorts or leggings, it's going to be way too tight. With the shorts, you can size up to try and get a bit more length, but it's just going to roll just as much. So if that's the only reason why you're sizing up, you'll probably want to stay true to size because it rolls just as much. There really is no difference. If you're a full size or if you're between sizes, I wouldn't size down. I would recommend you size up. The people who I would recommend size up completely are people who either are super tall with super thick thighs or just super thick thighs in general, because it's a very dense fabric and it's going to take up a bit more. I know that Daily Lifts, she's got huge quads and she says that she wished that she'd sized up. Kate Craig has sized up because, again, she's got bigger legs and she's also taller, so she sized up because of her legs and also to get a little bit more rise out of them, because like I mentioned, when you change sizes you do get a bit more rise out of things, so do keep that in mind. And yeah, that would be my third case for people sizing up. If you are like really dead against a mid-rise and you want to get it mid to high and like push it into the higher rise option and you're on the taller sides, consider a size up. But if you're a similar build to me, I would recommend that you stay true to size. Your preference will also come into it, so if you hate compression, you'll want to size up in these. But honestly, if you hate compression, I just recommend that you get Aura, not this, because it is a more compressive fabric. Something to note is when you get these, like when I got these, I got the size small and I was trying to get it on and I was thinking this is not gonna go. Got it on and I was like, oh, this is snug. But then the more I've worn it, it's molded to me perfectly. It's not bagged out like Aura does even in an extra small on me. It's just molded to me perfectly. And when I was putting the size small on again today on day 3, it's not as hard to get on anymore. It goes on easier. It's molded to me a lot more. And the same with the extra small. Like I could barely get the extra small, which usually, for reference, with leggings, the reason why I tried extra small is because usually in leggings I'm extra small or small. Shorts I'm usually small or medium, so that's my general sizing, so that's why I got an extra small in the leggings. They nearly didn't go on, but then they did. They were very uncomfortable, way too low rise and very like tight around like the crotch region and very uncomfortable, so I wouldn't size down. However, when I went to put them on again yesterday to do try on clips, they went on easier. Now, when they were on, they were still not as comfortable and I wouldn't want to wear them. I'd stick with my size small, but just be aware they do mold to you. So if you're gonna buy these, don't panic if they feel snug going on. Once they're on, they do mold out to you, and I do feel like that's something that you only notice with wear over time. My concern would be if I got a medium, I feel like that could then bag out on me because I've gone up a whole size. Whereas if you're between sizes, you'll be fine going a size up. But with me, I don't have super thick thighs. I'm not super tall. I've got glutes, but I don't have like the biggest arse in the world ever. So for me, I feel like if I went up to a medium, it might end up bagging out as it molds to me, if that makes sense. It might go on easier, but then how's it gonna look after a few wears on me, if that makes sense? So yeah, sizing, I would say stay true to size. If between sizes, size up. However, if you have particularly thick thighs and a massive arse, or you're super tall and you want more rise, you can size up, and sizing up will give you more rise. For the short, honestly, stay true to size. If between sizes, size up. I wouldn't recommend that you size up just to get more length in the shorts because they're gonna roll just as much. It doesn't make a difference on me. The small and the medium roll just as much, so I would stick true to size. If between, size up, not down. Okay, overall thoughts. The shorts are a pass for me. They are too short for me, and if I'm gonna go for a short inseam, I'd just rather wear my contour shorts. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I don't think I'm gonna be reaching for these much. However, if these were in a biker, it would be game changing for me and I would wear the shit out of them. A cut and sew in a short inseam just doesn't really work for me. The leggings are, in my opinion and for my preferences, these are the best cut and sew legging that ALPHALETE have put out to date. They work the best for me. They feel the highest quality. I love the fact that they're going down the hidden scrunch route. Yes, some may argue a little bit behind other brands on that, but they've done it. They've put something out with it. I love Aura, but I love Aura for very different reasons. And I do find with Aura sometimes it bags out and I just sometimes want something that feels a bit tighter on my leg and just feels like more of a warm hug, especially now it's colder, especially in the UK. These are going to be much better for like running errands and walks and all that good stuff. It's probably worth noting I don't train in leggings, I only train in shorts. So for me, you can wear these in the gym, you can wear these to do yoga, you can wear these to do Pilates, but I personally am using these as an errand legging because I don't train in leggings. So hopefully that sort of gives you a bit more context on what I use leggings for. But yeah, sometimes with Aura, as much as I love it, it bags out around the knee and I find I'm pulling it up a lot more. With this, they stay in place better, they're more flattering on the glutes, and they're thicker, they're warmer, they're much better for this time of year. Come summer, I might not be reaching for these as much because they're very warm, but I'm really impressed with these, honestly. I've not been this like impressed with a new product from ALPHALETE in a very long time. I really like these. I feel the same way about these as I did when the ALPHALET'S Essential leggings dropped when I was in my high-rise era. And if you remember, I loved the Essential leggings so much. They were like my ride or die. Cut and sew, then I loved Aura. This is definitely my new favourite cut and sew product that ALPHALETE have done. For my preferences, it works beautifully. So yeah, that's the bottoms. Okay, moving on to bras, we've got some newness. So this is the Mia mesh bra. This is probably, you know how like the underwear lines in the last drop on the shorts were like the most controversial thing that ALPHALETE's ever done. This bra is probably the most controversial looking bra that ALPHALETE have ever done. Like when I dropped the PDF, I remember people being like, what is going on with that bra? Definitely a little bit out there. So I'm going to run you over the details really quick. Again, you've got the Tenacity fabric. All these bras that I'm about to show you, I'm saying all, there's literally just the KDM zip after this and then we're done. It's the Tenacity fabric on the outside, but this is a double layered bra. So as you can see, if I drop the Tenacity front, you've got this mesh insert. It's basically two bras in one. Like it's not even just an insert. This has its own straps at the back. So this is how the first layer of the bra looks. It sort of comes up into a halter neck and then it's straight down the back, so it's super open, and it's a very soft mesh as well. Like it's not rough at all, it's very silky smooth, very soft, not itchy on the skin, not uncomfortable on the skin. I had quite a few people asking if it's itchy or uncomfortable or like rubs against the skin. Not at all. Like I don't find it does that at all. And if I flip it inside out so that you can see sort of how it all conjoins at the front, the mesh doesn't go all the way over the inside of the bra. It just goes up to that point. You've got inserts so you can put your own padding in, and obviously the padding doesn't go into the mesh part, it goes into the front part. The actual Tenacity bit itself has much thicker straps, but again it sits like a halter. It comes into a nice scoop in the front. It is quite wide. It's not super wide, but it is wider than some other like scoopy bras that we've had from ALPHALETE. It's wider than the Contour scoop, for example, and it is quite low as well. And then at the back, these straps are thicker than the other ones, and these ones sort of cross over. So when it's all together, this is how it looks at the back. I love the back of this. I think it's really pretty. You guys know how I feel about like more of an open back. And I do feel like with these straps being a bit thicker, it does feel, it's obviously like it's a tiny bra, it's not super high support, but it does feel like a low to medium, more pushing on medium support bra for me, which is quite strange because I wasn't expecting it at all, but I honestly feel quite well held in. And then branding wise, you've just got the Wolf raised rubber silicone logo on the back, and it's tonal. Now something to note is that obviously, as I've just shown you, because these two like do come sort of separate, is that this portion here isn't sewn into this bit. Like these are separate, so side on, these are separate. It's not sewn into it here. If you are incredibly flat in the chest or incredibly narrow chested, I would avoid this bra completely. When I first saw it, I thought this bra was going to be most suitable to very small chests and flat chests only, because I was like, there's no way my boobs are fitting in that. I've completely changed my mind on that now. The more athletes I've seen it on and trying it myself, I personally feel like this bra is most suited to, first of all, someone that likes the style. This isn't going to be for everyone, but second of all, it's more suited for people that fall in the middle with a chest size. I'm very much in the middle. My nipples don't sit like super far in. They sit sort of like just normally. More of my boob is at the side than the middle. I have more side boob than I do like cleavage. I also have implants as well, so keep that in mind. My boobs are fake, but this even works on Catherine, and she's a natural. She's got big boobs, don't get me wrong. God, I don't really want to be sat here talking about other people's boobs, but they're not like, oh my God, like ginormous huge. I feel like you need something like a mid-range boob size to fill this out, because if you don't fill it out, it's gonna gape here, and that's what everyone who is smaller in the chest has been saying. So I would say if you are intrigued by this bra and you want to try it out, but you've got massive, massive, massive tits, or a very, very, very narrow chest, or a very, very, very small and flat chest, I would avoid it. But if you are in the middle or a similar chest size to me, I honestly think it might work for you. But this is definitely one of those pieces where it will either work for you or it won't. I don't think there's going to be like a, oh, it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. It either fits you bang on or it doesn't and it looks off. This bra fits me bang on. I love an honest review, right? And I feel like it's very easy to look at a piece like this and just rag on it because it's quite different, and the mesh, and like, oh my God, my nipple's going to be out. But my nipple isn't out. I'll be so real, my nipple isn't out. Is it right on the edge? Yeah. Does it make me feel a little bit uncomfortable? Yeah. Would I probably spend my own money on this? No, because for me personally, I like wearing t-shirts and like fitted tees, long sleeve zip jackets in the gym, and if I'm going to be doing that, I don't necessarily need something so jazzy underneath. I'd rather just shove on an aura strappy bra, a halter bra for example. But sizing wise on me, this fits bang on. Like, this fits me perfectly. It doesn't gape on me. My tits aren't out, my nipples aren't out. And I've worn the black one through the day just with like t-shirts over it, hoodies over it, 2 days in a row. No trap discomfort, like there's no trap discomfort with this whatsoever. And also with no readjustment, my nipples weren't out. They stayed contained. It didn't really move around much, and on me it doesn't gape. But at home I've done like bent over rows, I've done like shoulder presses, I've done anything where my arms are going to be raised and moving around a lot more, and my nipples aren't out. Like, I stay contained in the bra, and it has really good side boob coverage on me as well. So honestly, like, the fit of it I love, and I actually really do like the look of it. I love a double layered sports bra. I own others and I really like how it looks. I just feel like it makes a sports bra look a lot more interesting, and I do find this incredibly flattering on me. It looks really good on the chest. It looks really good around the back. I honestly feel like because of how perfect your chest needs to line up with this bra, I'm gonna say for most people you would probably want to skip it, but I'm not gonna sit and be like, the fit's awful, it doesn't work on me, it gapes, my tits out, my nipples are out. It's just not true for me. It's definitely true for other people. Narrow chest, super small chest, super, super, super huge boobs. Definitely true in those cases, but for me, it's not true. Now, one thing that I did note in particular, which I do definitely want to cover, is there is a difference in colours for this bra for me. So I've got it in black, knockout, sugar and sting. I'm not going to talk about knockout yet. I'll go over that when I go over sizing, because that's actually a size down. However, the black one fits me perfectly, like beautifully, bang on. Sugar and spice, I've measured it, I've looked at it, like I've tried so hard to find a difference. I cannot find what the difference is. It must just be something to do with the fabric not fitting to my skin as tight, or maybe it's got more stretch to it, I don't know. But I do find that with sugar and spice, I get a bit of gaping sort of here in this sort of region, in the size small on me, which I don't get in the black. So the black fits me perfectly, but sugar and spice do fit me a little bit funky, filling out the front portion of the bra properly in those colours. But in the black, it works spot on. So everything I've just said about the sizing, apply that to the black one. But the sugar and spice, I do find on one side, and I know that I am, like, my body is slightly asymmetrical in the sense that like one of my tits sits slightly differently to the other, so that's probably playing a role in it. But it's just something to highlight because the black one fits bang on perfect. But sugar and spice, which I feel like these are the colours I'm seeing this bra on other people where it's not working, it does fit a bit lax on one side for me, and I don't know why. Again, I can't point out like there's something wrong with this colour because I don't know what it is, but I'm just mentioning it because if any of you buy those colours and it fits different to the black, if you buy the black as well, I would rather know that I have mentioned it. Now, in terms of sizing for this bra, I stick true to size. So I did a size small and a size down. I would not size up in this bra. If you've got super big boobs, I just don't think that this bra is going to work for you. I thought maybe I would need to size up in it just for more coverage in the middle, but from what I've seen from other athletes, when they've gone a size up, it's just so loose. Like the front layer is loose, they're getting the gaping even if they've got bigger boobs, they're getting the gaping, it's not fitting right around here. So I wouldn't recommend that you size up in this bra. If you've got big boobs to the point where you'd be thinking to contain them, I need to size up, I would just skip this bra completely. For me personally, I would say to stay true to size. And if you are between sizes for this bra, I would take a size down, not a size up. Just because when you size up, it seems like there is a big difference in how this front portion is fitting. I'll show you the extra small versus a small on me. It doesn't make a difference going down a size, how like wide it is, it's still just as wide cut, it just fits tighter. The extra small is a bit too tight for me, but that's a whole size down, because quite a few people were saying that they'd had to size down in it, so I thought let me try a size down, not a size up. But yeah, the extra small is just too tight for me, but that is a size down, so that makes sense. I'm a true size small, I wear a size small in most Alphalete bras, and a size small works for me. In terms of support, like I've mentioned, I have implants, so take it with a pinch of salt. Most of the Tenacity bras, in fact all of them prior, have either had a like physical shelf bra like the KDM or a built-in like bra with like a thick band under bust. This is the first one that doesn't. No thick under bust seam, it's just like a very thin seam on the inside that runs all the way around the bottom, and it just sort of like tucks under the boob rather than like lying flat against the body or anything like that. It's definitely a shorter line and a much more minimal coverage bra. But in terms of support, for me, I get like a medium support with this bra. I wouldn't say it's high support, but I also can't really say it's truly low on me because it fits quite snug, especially in the black colour. With it being that Tenacity fabric and it's denser, it does fit quite snug. But if you're naturally blessed, it's probably going to be more low to medium depending on the size of your bust. The only thing that I don't really like about this is the back band sort of hikes on me. And Sue was telling me the other day that a back band hikes when a bra is too big around the band, but in the extra small it's still hiking on me as well, so I don't think I could do a double extra small. And it's just a pet peeve of mine when a bra is hiking in the back. I like it to look very, I don't know, I just feel like it makes it look a little bit off, so I'm not a huge fan when a bra is hiking in the back. That's the only thing that I don't really like about this. Obviously it's not the most practical and it's definitely not going to be for everyone, but I actually ended up liking this more and it works for me more than I thought it would, if that makes sense. I'm probably going to keep the black just because that fits me perfectly and give the other colours away, just because I probably won't use them that much. But honestly, I am surprised by how well this bra worked for me. Overall thoughts are, for most people, they're probably not going to be comfortable with the mesh insert, but I would love to see, like, I love the design of this bra. I love how this looks. If we can get this with like 2 solid layers, I think people will love this. I think it's going to look so good and it will just make people a lot more comfortable and a lot more open to trying it. But I like it a lot more than I thought I would. But for me, style in the gym and what I'm wearing at the moment, I'm wearing like baby tees, long sleeve zip ups, so my bra is covered anyway, so I want something that's just a bit more minimal and plain under it so that it's not creating too many lines and stuff. So for that purpose, I probably wouldn't actually spend my own money on it, but I will be hanging on to the black. I wouldn't run in this. I really wouldn't recommend running in this, just because if anything, it might be quite uncomfortable. Your nipple, I know I've said that the mesh is soft and it is, but your nipple like rubbing up against the mesh, I'm not sure that that would be the most comfortable thing in the world, so I wouldn't run in it. And I also just wouldn't want too much movement like that when it can be so exposed, so I probably wouldn't run in it, but I would do weights in it if I was comfortable enough. For most people, like I've said, you're probably going to want to skip on this bra because it's you need to have the perfect chest for this bra. And that's not me saying I have a perfect chest, it's just I have the perfect chest for this bra, if that makes sense. And you either do or you don't. And there will be a few different perfect chests for this bra, but if it's not fitting you perfectly, it's not going to work. If you're getting gaping, that's going to be very unsafe. If you are finding that it's too wide and it's loose here, again, very unsafe, you will get gaping. If you find that you're super narrow and this is way too wide, your literal nipples are going to be out. So yeah, I would love to have seen this in a like double layered with both solid pieces, just because as well I feel like with ALPHALETE we've been asking for core basic staples like full zip jackets, like meet and greet jackets, more baby tees, long sleeve, full length options, all this like full length stuff, and a lot of core basics that other brands are offering that ALPHALETE just don't. Not only other brands are offering, but they're offering them in multiple colorways, in multiple styles, in multiple fabrics, and ALPHALETE aren't doing that. So I just feel like when we're doing a new bra, it should be one that's going to work for most people rather than like a very small minority, if that makes sense. If we're putting a product out at the moment, I feel like it needs to be something, and there'll be nothing that works for everyone, but I feel like we should be putting out more products that are going to work for most people rather than a very niche group of people. It's an interesting choice to drop this at this point, especially when we're still missing so many pieces that people have been asking for literally like 2 to 3 years. Stay on the safe side, most people would probably want to skip it. Hey, moving on to the KDM zip top. I picked this up in 3 colours and I got it in a small and an extra small. So these have dropped before. I'm going to run you over the details. A long sleeve version is coming, but the long sleeve version isn't full length. Like a similar level crop to this. Could be wrong, they might have changed it, but oh, imagine if we had this in full sleeve, full length. That would be so, and then you could wear it with the Tenacity leggings. You would be so snatched and so warm and cozy. Anyway, that's not what this is. So this is the KDM zip top. It's dropped before. There are a few changes that I'm going to run you over, but just to go over the details really quickly. These ones come with padding. You don't have to add your own in, they come with padding now. So it comes with padding. You've got a built-in shelf bra, which looks like this. I'll pop in like a layover clip so that you can probably see that a lot better in terms of how the shelf bra looks, but it's just got like a band under bust, and it gives you like 1.5 inches extra material at the bottom to cover the bottom of the bra, just in case you're wondering how short that comes up. You've got a zip down the front which zips about 3/4 of the way down. It doesn't zip fully down. Got this much fabric at the bottom when it's zipped all the way down. You've then got cap sleeves, so it's not a true short sleeve, it's more of a cap sleeve. Your armpit is able to breathe a little bit more. A collar around the neck, which is not tight, it's not uncomfortable, it doesn't cause any discomfort, so that's perfectly fine. In terms of the length for the crop, it sits sort of below most bras if you wanted to wear a bra under it, but I probably wouldn't because that'd be like bra on bra, that would be like double bra. Logo tonal on all the pieces again. This dropped earlier in the year and they're dropping it again in new colours. Now I don't know if they meant to make these changes, but there are some changes that I just want to run you through really quickly. So first change that I noticed is these fit a little bit tighter, but not in a bad way. I found before that I was sort of straddling between the extra small and the small, because small just felt like up here there was just a bit too much fabric, and if I wore it fully zipped down it was just gaping a bit too much. It wasn't loose, but I mentioned in my review at the time I felt like it could have done with being a little bit tighter. These are all about 1/2 inch snugger all over, like everywhere, and it sounds like a tiny amount, but it just fits bang on in a size small for me now. The zip is also 0.75 inches shorter, so the zip doesn't actually zip down as far as the other one did. It stops a little bit higher, which I find again works better. I'll put in a side by side, but before it just felt like, yeah, it's a boob moment, but in a size small they felt so uncontained. A lot less sort of like flappiness and gaping when it's fully zipped down. The shelf bra has been changed slightly as well, so the bottom band is about 1/2 inch thicker on the new one now, and it fits a lot better. I mentioned last time that it was just a bit too short and it sort of sat where like my incisions are from my boob job rather than sitting flat under bust. Fits my boobs in a lot better, and if you're bigger busted you will definitely prefer the updated shelf bra. Like, it fits a lot better, and the shelf bra itself is also 1/2 inch tighter. Like, everything is about 1/2 inch tighter. Yeah, you've just got that extra little bit of length on the band, which I feel like it just gives it a bit more support. Obviously this one's coming with padding, the other one didn't. The darts on this are also a little bit longer, like the internal darts that are on the shelf bra. The like inside sort of construction of the bra as well just looks a lot more finished, like there's a seam above where the cup pads go, so they wouldn't like go all up into different compartments and all that sort of stuff of the bra. Like, it just feels like a more, the KDM zip was good last time, but this feels like a refined version. And honestly, it's more like the sample that I had from Turkey last year, which I mentioned in my initial review. I did prefer my sample to the real deal. This is much more similar to the sample now, so it's fitting a lot more true to size. It's a little bit snugger, but in a more true to size way. I feel like they were a little bit bigger before. It fits perfectly. The shelf bra is a lot better. It's a lot more flattering regardless of where the zip is now in my true size, and I much prefer it. I also find support wise, I find this a lot more supportive now. The shelf bra just feels, because the whole thing just feels a bit snugger, it feels like it's doing more. So I honestly get like a medium to high support from this now. Obviously, if you wear it fully zipped down, you're going to get less, but even then, honestly, it feels like a medium support on me. So medium to high support, and if you wear it fully zipped up, it's honestly very supportive, this bra now. So honestly, this is, I don't know if they meant to make those changes or the factory just went back to what they originally wanted or what, but it works a lot better, and there's no issues with the zip ripping. Like, no one's had the zip bust underneath. Stay true to size. I would still say if you're between sizes, go with a size down, not up, just in, especially if you're wanting to wear it fully zipped down, probably would want to go with that size down if you're between sizes, just to make sure you're not going to get any gaping. But it fits a lot more true to size, so for most people, stick true to size. If between sizes, I would probably still size down. The thing that I notice is if I do take a size down, the sleeves are quite snug, which is why I just wouldn't recommend that you size down in this anymore. If you are a true size, go true to size and you'll still get that really flattering sort of appearance. Extra small definitely gives the tits a little bit more va-va-voom, but it is quite snug, and I do find the bottom band of the shelf bra gives like a bit of a pudge in the extra small on me, so I wouldn't size down in this anymore. I would just stick true to size because I can still get a good cleavage moment, especially with the zip being shortened. It's just a lot more flattering in my true size now. I don't need to size down anymore for that same sort of effect. So yeah, as much as the extra small makes my tits look huge, I would probably just stick true to size. Overall thoughts are, I actually really like this. It's a good quality product, it's a well done product, and especially with the changes, the sizing is a lot more true to size now and it's easier to sort of navigate. The shelf bra fits better, it just feels like a better bra. I'm more excited for the long sleeve version because it's very cold in the UK at the moment and it's getting colder, so I personally, especially if you're in the UK, I would probably wait for the long sleeve version of this because I feel like that's going to be phenomenal. Like, I feel like that's going to be so good. If you're in a warmer climate, this will work a lot better than the long sleeves are going to. But yeah, personally, I would actually be waiting for the long sleeves to drop, but a great product. Probably one of like the most luxe feeling products that Alphalete has done. It's very well done and it's been perfected for this drop, whether they did it on purpose or by accident. It's fucking good. Okay, moving on to one of my least favourite pieces in this drop, and I'm so sad about it, but it just doesn't work for me. This is the Allure bodysuit. So I picked this up in a small and a medium because I actually tried this on in Houston in July, but when I tried it on, it was already done. They were basically just like, what do you think? And I remember saying I love the feeling of Tenacity fabric all over my body. It feels like a warm hug. But I do remember saying, I can't remember whether I said it to Melissa or Christian, the neckline is so unflattering on me. It's not my favourite product, but everyone else seems to love it, so I feel like it just maybe depends how you're built. But for me, this is like criminally unflattering on me. I find it really unflattering. So this is how the front looks. I'm just going to run you through the details really quick. It's got this sort of like high neck wide scoop and then a very short cap sleeve. Like, this sort of sits off the shoulder. It doesn't curve round on me at all. It just sort of like flies off my shoulder, and it's very short, like a very tiny little cap sleeve. The armholes are quite wide. I do find that they're very wide, actually a bit too wide. I mean, it's comfortable because it's not digging into my armpit, but they look a little bit off on me, in my opinion. I don't know. It's very tight around the neck on me, but it's this sort of like high neck scooping neckline. A built-in shelf bra, and it does come with padding. So you've got the thicker underbust band that the Tenacity pieces had previously to give a bit of support, but honestly it doesn't give a ton of support because it's completely backless, so you're not going to get high support. I would say it's like a low support. It then comes down into the waist where you've got a seam that just sort of goes straight across the middle. I do find this just really unflattering. I wish it was like a dip or something just to accentuate the waist a bit more. The fact that it goes straight across, I don't find it that flattering. And then it goes into a big flare at the bottom, and it's a 34-inch inseam. Whether it's a small or a medium, they're both a 34-inch inseam. So if you are short, this is probably going to be very long on you. Equally, if you're super tall, it'll be long enough for you. So I feel like this is best for like reasonably tall to average height people. Don't just go off height for this, I would go off your inseam, which is the top of your leg, like your inner thigh to the floor, and then factor in what shoes you're going to wear. For me, the length is perfect, and with a chunky shoe, it's perfect. It's not too long, it's not too short, it's the perfect length, and I'm a 31-inch inseam for reference. The back is completely open at the back, completely open, and it's a very like wide open back as well. It scoops. This sort of hits you about mid-back, and then you've got the little tonal ALPHALETE logo, and then you just have a long glute seam. So this doesn't have a hidden scrunch on it. The glute seam is actually closer to like Aura in terms of length. I'm pretty sure it is like 6 inches. It might be a bit longer. I will check and put it on the screen. Sizing wise for this, you don't need to size up for more length because they are all a 34-inch inseam. I did ask and they said it's all a 34-inch inseam. So sizing up won't get you more length, sizing down won't get you less length. Do you find though with the Tenacity fabric being quite dense, if you pull it up, you can sort of hike the fabric and make it fit a bit shorter if you need to. The flare reminds me of the Aura flare. It's very similar in terms of how it fits the leg. It's not like a Buff Bunny Foxy flare where it's super flared, but it's not like a straight leg either, and it's not like a tiny little flare like a Lulu one. It's very much the same as the Aura flare in terms of how it looks on the leg. In terms of torso length, because I have quite a long torso, the torso is actually like okay on this. I'll pop the measurements in so that you guys can see what the measurements are for this, but the torso length isn't too short. I would say it's quite long torso friendly. I don't feel like I'm being strangled in it. I also don't really notice that I get much of a camel toe in it, so that's another win, another plus. So yeah, sizing wise, I would say to stay true to size, and if you are between sizes, size up. I wouldn't size down in this. It's Tenacity. It's probably going to be a bit too tight. And you just don't need to size down in this. It's a tightly woven fabric. It's very dense. If you're between, I would go over size up. I feel bad saying it because everyone else is loving this, but I don't like this at all on me. I find it really unflattering. There's something about how high the neckline of this is. Like the juxtaposition of that with it being completely backless, for me, just looks strange. I don't like how high the back comes either. I would actually prefer more of my back to be out. I feel like where it hits me, it makes my back look very wide and weird, and I don't find it that flattering. I'm not mad at the glute seam. I think the glute seam looks fine, but it probably would have been more flattering if it had had the hidden scrunch on it. It is quite flattering on the glutes and it looks good on the legs, but the top portion of this, I just cannot. Like, it's so tight in the size small across here, and then in the medium it's not as tight, but again, I just feel like because I have quite prominent traps and I am a little bit broader up top, it just accentuates how broad I am. It doesn't flatten my waist because there's no sort of like waist accentuating detailing, and I feel like because I've got my boobs as well, it just sort of creates like a, not like a tenting effect, but it doesn't go as tight to my waist as I would want it to, and it ends up making me look quite boxy from the front. I'm not a fan of this on me at all, but I do think it massively depends on your body shape and type. If you're like less broad up top, it might look more flattering on you, but from the back, I feel like I would prefer it if it was lower cut, because where it hits me just makes me look really boxy. And the front, I would just have liked, obviously we had the short one piece and that was a high neckline. It would have been nice to have had something with a lower neckline for the long version option. It's just too high for me. I don't find it very flattering. I don't find the way it's cut across the neck very flattering, and I don't like it. The quality of it feels nice. It's a lovely feeling having Tenacity fabric all over my body, but I don't like the one piece. It makes me look really boxy. I feel really self-conscious in it. I don't feel very confident in it, and it makes me look really top heavy, like really top heavy. So for me personally, the bodysuit is a pass. Yeah, in summary, this is probably one of my least favorite pieces in the drop because it just doesn't work for me. It's not very flattering, it's not very accentuating, and sizing up didn't help. Like, it's just quite, I would be conscious if you are broader up top of how tight that scooping neckline is. I would just be aware of that. But the fabric feels really good. It's double layered through the torso, so it's nice and thick. feels really nice on the body, single line through the leg and through like the little cap sleeve, but it's a very unflattering cut on me. It's not my favourite. If you are going to pick it up, stay true to size. If between sizes, size up. It's super, super, super tall. I don't think it'll be long enough, honestly, but equally if you're super, 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 super short, this will be way too long for you. I don't understand why we're not doing multiple inseam options. Like, other brands have been doing it for years. Brands that are half the age of ALPHALETE have been doing it for years. With a straight leg pant, with a flare pant, we need to be seeing multiple inseam options, because there is just no way that one inseam can work for everyone. And I know that not every item can work for everyone anyway, but when other brands who have just started or are like half the age have been doing it, I feel like, why can't we? So yeah, that's a little frustrating, but yeah, that's my thoughts on the Allure bodysuit. Not for me, probably one of my least favourite pieces in the drop. Guys, we're making progress. That's a big chunk of the haul done. Thank you for always bearing with me. I know that I talk a lot and I give a lot of detail, but I would hate for you guys to buy something off my recommendation and then message me and be like, oh, you didn't mention this, and I'm like, fuck, I noticed it but I didn't mention it. Like, I want to make sure I mention everything for you guys. So we're moving on to some core basics now. Again, I do just have a little bit of a bone to pick, which is it's October. Like 5 crop tops, is it? 5 crop tops in a drop for October, when, again, like, I feel like I sound like a broken record, but like, when I say core basic staples, I don't just mean crop tops, I mean full length options, I mean full sleeve options, I mean short sleeve full length options, I mean crop options as well, but like seamless versions, fabrics of like the baby tee in a long sleeve, or like the OT fabric in like a long sleeve, or just full length options, because it's cold, like it's October, it's winter, and we've got a drop with like 5-6 crop tops in it. Like, I train in a warehouse sort of style gym. It's fucking freezing in there. I'm not saying it's just an age thing, but I'm not 18 anymore. Like, I don't want to be in a crop top in the gym every single day. I really love how like a fitted long sleeve looks with shorts in the gym. It looks so sleek, it's easy to throw on, and it's also warm enough. Like, it's October, why have we done like 6 crop tops? I don't get it. That's just my piece. And if anyone else is looking at this and thinking, why there's so many crop tops, it's October, I hear you, I get it. But we're going to start off strong. We're going to go over the baby tees. So these are the exact same as last time. Like, I've measured them up. They are the exact same as last time. 94 cotton, 6% elastane is what it says on the labels. Feels the exact same as the last one. Loop neckline like a standard t-shirt. You've got these little cap sleeves, which I find in an extra small, they're not as capped, they're more sort of tight. They don't like flare off my shoulder, but in a small, in my true size, they do flare a little bit more. Raised rubber logo on the front, and they're all tonal, so you can see how tiny that is. You can't tell when it's on body. You could probably tell the most in the white one, just because the white one is sheer. Even with a white bra under it, you can see it. So the white one is completely see-through. You'll need a bra under it, but you're going to see whatever bra you put under it, so do be aware of that. It's not a completely straight cut, it's a little tiny bit of a scoop, and then it's straight across the back, and it hits high hip. So I wouldn't call this a crop. It's not full length, but to me it's closer to full length than it is a crop, if that makes sense. And I've got quite a long body, so it hits high hip. So this is going to work as a full length option, as in you want your stomach covered, with pretty much any gym bottom. Amplify, Aura, Tenacity, ALPHALETE'S Surface, whatever you want to wear this with, it's going to work as like it's going to meet it, and it's going to cover the top of it. And I find these so flattering with Amplify. Now, this fabric is obviously not a performance fabric. It sort of sits between, for example, the OT fabric is like modal and cotton, and very thin and very soft and buttery. That feels a bit more loungy. You know, you'd have like a compression top, like a seamless compression top, nylon-y feeling sort of compression top or long sleeve. These sort of sit in the middle. They're not super soft and thin and stretchy, but they're also not a performance top either. They sit in the middle. It's sort of like, it feels like a slick, slightly slick, cold to touch jersey fabric. If you've tried the performance tees from ALPHALETE, that's what this feels like to me. They're not sweat proof, they do show sweat. And something that I have noticed, which I do feel is worth noting, these stink if you sweat in them. You know how with some stuff, if you sweat in it and kind of get away with wearing it again if you've not sweated that much. Even if I've sweated a tiny bit in these, doesn't matter what deodorant I've put on, I have to wash it. I can't wear it 2 days in a row. It stinks. Like, they really cling to smells, which I find weird, but it comes out in the wash. It doesn't stick to them in the wash. They come out very clean. Shrinkage wise, these do not shrink in the wash. If you dry them, they will shrink in the dryer. Don't put them in the dryer. Washing machine only, then hang to dry, and they don't shrink. My only ones that have shrunk are the ones that my mum has put in the drying machine, so please don't put these in the dryer. They will shrink. Sizing wise for these, you can stay true to size if you want to, but for me personally, how I am with sizing, I wanted these body fit, so I go down to an extra small. They have enough stretch to accommodate that. I still get good length out of them even with my chest. It doesn't look weird. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a size that's too small for me. I just get a body fit in a size down. If you go true to size, it won't be like an oversized top on you. You're just going to have a little bit of extra fabric. So that's why I sized down. I showed you guys in February, you can also just roll these into a straight up crop. If you do want a crop, you can roll them up over your bra to make a little like t-shirt bolero thing. So you can wear these 3 ways. They're very versatile. If you follow me on Instagram, if you've watched my vlogs, it's been my most worn, along with the contour shorts, product from ALPHALETE of the year. I highly recommend picking these up, and these, to be fair, sold so quick at the birthday sale. These are the one thing where I would say if you want the baby tees, buy them on the launch day, because I don't know if they're gonna have all the sizes available come Black Friday. These were really popular in February, and also even without like a Black Friday discount, they're a really reasonable price. So yeah, I would highly recommend picking up the baby tees. And yeah, don't buy it expecting something like, whoa, like this is something totally new and like the fabric's so new and it's really compressive. If that's what you want in, you'll be disappointed. It's not compressive, but it's so easy to throw on, and if you size down, you get that nice body fit. It looks gorgeous with Amplify. Like, it looks so good with all the bottoms, but with Amplify in particular, it looks so good. This and contour shorts have been my gym uniform for months. You've then got the OT muscle tank. This has dropped before. I don't want to go over it too much because it's the exact same, but I picked it up in the June colour because I'm a neutrals girl, and it's like this very nice heathered, it doesn't look heathered on camera, but in person it is heathered sort of nudie colour. It's 50 cotton, 50 poly, so the exact same as last time. The only difference is, instead of having ALPHALETE Athletics down the back, you've got the new LDB sort of emblem logo down the back, which I much prefer. I hated the ALPHALETE Athletics down the back. I didn't like it at all. And it's sort of like stickered on. I've only had this for a few days and I've not been able to wash it a ton yet, so I am curious to see how this wears. These definitely won't sell out, so maybe wait until Black Friday and I will update you on that. My other ones have had no issues and I've washed those multiple times. You've got the little wolf tag, and it's basically literally just a crop boxy fit racer tank. It's very cropped. I personally wear these tucked into a sports bra and I love how it looks. Like, this has also been one of my most worn pieces recently. Not this one specifically, but my grey one that I've had for a few months. I've been wearing the shit out of it, and if you've been watching my vlogs, you'll have seen. Tucked into an Aura strappy bra. I love it. I just think this looks so good. Having said that, it would be good if we could just get like a fitted tank top like this. Like, we could do cool graphics, we could do some ribbed ones. I just feel like it's such a core basic staple, and something that I've definitely noticed I'm missing from ALPHALETE because I keep fannying around with this one and tucking it in. But if you don't tuck it in, it's a very like boxy wide fit. I haven't noticed that these shrink in the wash. Some people have, but if I wash it at 30 and I just hang to dry, it doesn't shrink for me. Sizing wise, I would say to stay true to size or size up, especially if you've got bigger boobs and you want it more like just to completely be very oversized. I wouldn't size down in these. They're nice, lightweight, super soft, very like almost silky brushed feeling cotton fabric. It's a lot thinner than the baby tees, for example. This is more brushed. Those are more like slick, cold to touch feeling, a bit more of a rib to them. This is completely smooth and brushed. Lightweight, not sweat proof, will show sweat, but I really like these, and I would definitely say, especially when Black Friday rolls around, give these a go, because it's such a staple in my gym wardrobe now, and especially at sale they're going to be really well priced. So yeah, apologies if anyone feels like I'm rushing through these. It's because I've reviewed them before, so I will leave below the first time I reviewed them so that you guys can go and check it out. But yeah, moving on, this is the exact same as the OT crop tee, but this is the new LDB version. So you've got the exact same detail as the OT crop. You've got the little wolf tag on the side, on the left hand side, single lined, super thin, super stretchy modal cotton blend fabric. Just to clarify, the fabric is 48 cotton, 48 modal, 4% elastane, which I think is slightly different to the OT crop tees when I check the label, but it feels the exact same. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a difference. The crop is the exact same, so these are much more cropped than the baby tees. Like, these are way above belly button height. This is a true crop top. It hits me above belly button height. The sleeves are sort of ish capped, but not really. I would say it's more of like an in-between between a cap sleeve and a short sleeve. Yeah, you've just got the little LDB on the front of it. These are sheer because they are very like stretchy and soft, and the fabric is super thin, so do be aware of that. Especially in the lighter colours, you will be able to see whatever you've got underneath. On me, like in tops, I actually don't mind a sheer top where you can see my bra under it. It doesn't bother me. But if that's going to bother you and render it not worth it, skip on it. Size down in it just because I want it as body fit as possible, and with it being so like stretchy and thin, I feel like you can just get away with sizing down in this. Obviously though, that does make it a lot more sheer over bust, so do be aware of that. Not sweat proof, and it's a very like soft brushed fabric, very similar to the one that I've just showed you, the OT muscle tank. So it's a very soft brushed thin jersey fabric, so it's not a performance fabric at all. So do be aware of that. It's definitely more of a lounge fabric, but I do wear it to training. I find it really lightweight and breathable, especially in the summer. The OT crop tops, I wore them a lot. Obviously with it being winter, I'm not sure how much I'll wear this in the gym, but for lounging around the house, 100%. My gym's just a little bit too cold probably for this at the moment. Like this with a black headband I had on the other day with black joggers, and I just felt really cool. I like this little logo. Yeah, you can stay true to size with these, or you can size down. You can go either way, it really doesn't matter. Just be aware that if you size down, you have a bigger bust, it will sheer the fabric out a bit more. Really reasonably priced, and again, I don't think these will sell out, so maybe something to pick up on Black Friday. And it's one of my most worn ALPHALETE pieces out of everything that they've dropped this year. I would choose the baby tees over this, just to be completely honest, because I prefer having my stomach covered up completely now. Okay, final little crop top is the exact same fabric blend as the one I've just shown you, and very similar in design. There are just a couple differences. So this is the trick crop, and one of the main differences is the seam detailing. So as you're going to see, I'll just show you in the try on clip actually, it's going to be easier. You have these sort of seams that make it look like the front portion isn't attached to the sleeves almost, like it makes it stand out more. You do also have that same detailing copied again on the back, so the seams are a little bit different to the other OT crops. It's sort of like a very, almost, it reminds me of like how the aura is curved around your arse. This is curved sort of into your armpit. It's got the little ALPHALETE wolf head tag logo on the side there, and it's double lined in the front. So the sleeves are single line, super thin, same as the fabric I've just showed you, but then the front portion is actually double lined. So this has two sections to it. The back is single, but that front portion that's within those seams is fully double lined, and it's a lot thicker. It's not like completely non-see-through, but hopefully you can see it's a lot more opaque. Is that the right word? It's a lot more dense than the single layered portions, so it's actually a really good option if you don't want to have to wear a bra under something. I'm not sure what the lighter colours are like, but the black, you can see like the outline of my nipples in terms of like shape, but you can't see the colour of anything, and you can't see my tits, which I could never do in the single line version. It's way too sheer. So I do actually really like that, and if you are someone who just wants a top you can throw on and you don't have to wear a bra under it, it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Another detail difference is the seam at the bottom. So this is more cropped than the one I've just shown you. This is the most cropped out of all of them, and it has a sort of curved underbust seam along the bottom, and then it's straight cut across the back, so it curves sort of up under your bust, sort of like that. I honestly find this really flattering. Sizing wise, I got it in an extra small. I don't think you need to size down in this because this runs about an inch smaller than the OT crop tee, so you don't need to size down in it, but the extra small fits me. I do find that with arm movement and stuff as well, I'm still fully covered at the bottom. It's not hiking up over my boobs even in a size down, so I think it's a pretty secure option in terms of arm movement. For me personally, I actually do really like this. I just wish it didn't have these seams, because I just find it a little bit off-putting. In the black it's not too bad because you can't tell, but in the lighter colours I feel like it's a bit more obvious, and I'm not a huge fan of that detail. But I like the idea of the double lined front. It works well on this top. And I like how it curves under bust. It's very flattering on me. It's definitely not a top pick, but it's not a bad product by any means. I'm just not a huge fan of the seams. So yeah, true to size. You can size down, you can size up if you want a little bit more length. It's super stretchy. It has a lot of give to it, so the sizing is going to be very interchangeable. I wear an extra small and I'm perfectly happy with that size. It's very cropped, but it does stay in place under bust, so you're not going to be slipping out, especially if you've got implants or a similar chest size to me. But yeah, it's probably not something that I would actually buy. I'd choose the baby tee over this any day of the week, but it's nice. It's, if you want a super cropped crop, it's a nice option. Okay, moving on to the lounge pieces. There are 4 new items dropping for women's, and then I've got the Force hoodie, the Force hoodie? Yeah, the Force zip up from the men's to go over with you. So the first thing I'm going to go over is this new overlay shrug. So I've got this in the dark grey colour. I'll pop on the screen the actual name of the colour, and I'm going to pop on the screen as well the fabric blend of this, but the outside of these pieces feels very much how you would expect a jogger to feel. It's just like a soft sort of typical jersey feeling, brushed cotton sort of feeling, not super brushed to the point where it's like Tenacity, for example, but envision how the outside of most joggers feel. It's that, it's super soft. It doesn't have much stretch to it. It's quite like stiff. It's definitely not as stretchy in my opinion as like the Athletic sweatpants or the Origin fabric, but that's probably more to do with the inside. So that's the outside, and then the inside is like this sort of toweling, it's like a brushed towel feel, like it feels like a brushed terry fabric on the inside. It's not like a smooth brushed fabric, it's like ribbed. It feels like a very soft towel, if that makes sense. If you've ever had anything that's terry, that's what it feels like. It might not be terry, but that is what it feels like. And it's like diagonal ribbing on the inside, so it's definitely not as soft or as cozy as Origin or the Athletic stuff with like the fleece lining. It's not as soft on the skin, but it's also not nice on the skin either. Like, it has a softness to it. It's not like the very terry where it was quite stiff. You've got a ribbed collar that runs all the way around the neck and around the bottom, and then obviously it scoops at the bottom. The back is quite like a good length. It's not super short, but it's not super long. It hits sort of like just above mid back on me. And then you've got like oversized sleeves. They're not tight. They fit sort of how you would expect a sort of hoodie sleeve to fit. And then branding wise on this, on the right sleeve, you've got the ribbed cuffs, which are actually quite ribbed to be honest. And then you've got this little wolf tag, which is basically like sewn on. And this is on all of the women's lounge pieces. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So I'm sort of like indifferent to it. I don't look at it and think, oh my god, that's awful, like feel about other logos, but it's not my favourite thing in the world. I don't really want to wear it on the sleeve when it's so obvious like that. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the branding. I got this in a size small, and it's literally just like a jogger shrug. It's definitely something new for Alphalete. They've not done something like this before. For me personally, I'm just not sure how me this is. Like, I'm not even really that much of a cardigan person. I'm trying to get into cardigans, but I feel like this would be good if it's more your this is going to be a personal style thing, basically, is what I'm trying to say. This isn't really my personal style. I would rather have a full tracksuit on. I feel like when it comes to my chill clothes, I'm a bit more boyish than girlyish, if that makes sense. This isn't a piece that I have use for in my wardrobe. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing I would say is the sleeves are really short. On this and the Bubble Crew, which I'll show you in a second, the sleeves are really short on these for me. Now, when I'm stood normally, they're fine, but as soon as I start moving, the wrists come up to like here, and I don't like my hoodies to do that. I like my hoodies to be way too long, if anything, on the arms. I feel like this range, like this entire drop, was definitely tried on short people, in my opinion. or people with shorter arms, because even the men's hoodies, like, it's not the longest sleeve in the world, it's not as long as the classic or the origin. When I'm moving around, I don't like having to constantly pull sleeves back down. I just want them to be long enough that I don't have to do that. And with this, I do find that it rides up my wrists and it gives me a bit of an ick. So for me personally, personal preference wise, not my cup of tea. And also just from like a fit point of view, the sleeves are a bit short. So with that being said, I would actually probably want to try a size up in this. Like, it's not tight anywhere or anything like that, and it looks like it fits nice, but for sleeve length I would probably actually want to try a size up. So if you've got longer arms in this and the bubble crew, I would say consider trying a size up. But other than that, if you're shorter or anything, you can stay true to size and it'll give you like a nice lightly oversized fit. In terms of shrinkage, I've washed this and it hasn't shrank at all, so it doesn't appear like it's going to shrink, but I've only been able to wash it once. I haven't put it in the dryer because honestly, if you are putting your tracksuits in the dryer, you are asking for trouble. They are probably going to shrink. I always want to be fair, and joggers and stuff will always say do not tumble dry. So I've not tumble dried it. I put it in the wash 30 degrees, no shrinkage, so it's been completely fine in terms of the fabric, and this fabric is on all of the pieces. But yeah, the overlay shrug, stay true to size. Shorter, or you've got shorter arms. If you've got longer arms, I would consider going a size up. It comes down to personal preference. This just isn't really my personal style, so it's not a piece that I am going to be using much, or a piece that I would put in my top picks. Then have a bubble crew, which is a cropped crew neck sweater. I've got this in the lighter grey shade here, and I picked this up in a medium. So details wise, you just got a normal like crew neckline with the classic sort of like rib around the neck. I do have a little bit of makeup on that, don't mind me. It's got a nice dropped shoulder, so it's super oversized. And then around the bottom, I thought this would be adjustable, but it's not. So it's basically like a massive bobble, you know, like if you had a silky bobble, that's what it feels like. It feels like a scrunchie around the bottom. It's not tight to body on me because I did go up to a medium. I don't know if you go true to size, if it would like be snug and like fall, but it definitely isn't like tight to body, but you can't adjust it, so I would bear that in mind with sizing. Just be aware you can't tighten it. The fabric on this, the sleeves is the same as the overlay shrug, so the outside of it feels like a classic jogger material. The inside is this sort of brushed toweling of effect. It's quite thin and lightweight in the sleeve, but then the body, it's double layered. So you've got the outside, which feels like a typical jogger, that's exactly how that feels, and then you've got the inside, which feels like the brushed cotton tees. It's like a super brushed thin jersey fabric, so this is thick, whereas this is thinner on the inside, and this is what you have against your skin, so it's super soft and cozy. I want to say like about just above belly button height on me. Branding wise, you've got the little ALPHALETE tag. It's on the back of the neck, so I'm not mad because I could cover that with my hair. And then the sleeves are a little balloonish, but honestly the sleeves on this are so short on me again. They're just too short. They're too short. Like if I'm stood normally, it's fine, but I don't stand like this all day. I move around and it just rides up my wrist, and I saw it happening with Ashley as well. So it's definitely not just a me thing. I personally just like to have sleeves that I don't have to faff around with when it comes to sweats. I don't want anything that's giving like my wrists are afraid of the dark. So for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm also just not a huge fan of this specific shade of grey. It reminds me of like prison grey, like I feel like an inmate in this, or like honestly the fit of this as well, because I went up to a medium, it's still too short on the sleeves, but also I feel like Miss Trunchbull off Matilda in this. It's just because this section here where it's like the bubble effect, it's so heavy and it's just very oversized, but it just sort of sinks down at the bottom, and I don't feel like the fabric sits particularly nice. For me personally, I'm actually not a huge fan of this, and it's probably something that I'm going to end up giving away because I don't see myself using this much. It just sits a bit funny on me. The sleeves are a bit too short, and again, I would rather just wear a hoodie than this. It's not really my personal taste. I've had things like this before from like a brand that they sell at Urban Outfitters, I can't remember the name, but that came with a drawstring so you could tighten it. I feel like I would have probably preferred this if it had longer sleeves and a drawstring, because you can still tuck it under and then you can't see it, so then you can tighten it, and then the sizing's a lot more interchangeable, so I could size up a lot. For me personally, the sleeves are too short, the bottom isn't adjustable, so it's not my favourite. Sizing wise for this, I would say probably for most people you're going to want to size up. It's not that it's going to be tight in your true to size, it's just that the sleeves are quite short, so I think most people would probably want to size up. But if you're a lot shorter or you've got short arms, you can stay true to size. I probably wouldn't size down in it, but yeah, for most people, stay true to size or size up. With stuff like this, it depends how you want it to fit. I have so many hoodies, I'm such a hoodie person and such a sweat person that I know what I like, and I'd rather just keep that rather than this, if that makes sense. We then have two joggers. So we've got the Trek sweatpant and then the cargo sweatpants. So I'm going to go over the cargos first, but just to let you know, I washed both of these, and again, it's the same fabric as the shrug. Neither of them have shrank. I didn't put them in the dryer because, like I just said, I believe you should test pieces via their washing instructions. It feels very unfair to put things in the dryer when it says do not tumble dry and then complain that it shrank. I understand that some people don't always have time and they're not able to dry things, but it doesn't really say anything about the product itself, if that makes sense. 30-degree wash, they were fine, no shrinkage. So I'm going to go over the cargos first. So details wise on this, there's no adjustability on these in terms of the waistband, so I sized up to a medium for these because that's what everyone was saying to do. It's got the little wolf tag on the front. Again, I don't love it, I don't hate it. I'm just sort of meh. I kind of wish it wasn't there. These do have a front seam, they have a seam down the back as well. A thinner ribbed waistband around the front, and then around the back it's like the typical jogger chunkier waistband, so it's like 2-in-1. The front bit's definitely there to sort of fit tighter, and I feel like it stops the crotch looking as like divey. Like, I do prefer the Origin sweatpants to both of these, just gonna put that out there. They're quite divey in the crotch region. The crotch region is quite like puffy, it almost like comes out a bit, whereas with this, because you've got this thinner rib at the front, I feel like it helps it sit flatter to the body at the front. The crotch doesn't look as weird, and then around the back, this is obviously more adjustable for the bum, the glutes, everything that the girls have packing in the back. You then have two pockets at the side with no zip, but they're just a nice deep pocket, and then on the cargos you've got a cargo pocket on either side with these poppers, and this does fit in a 15 Pro Max if anyone was curious. But yeah, these just snap shut like that and then open. It took me ages to do that. And then at the bottom, interesting, they go into a straight leg. They're definitely not as wide as Origin or as wide as the Trek pants, which I'm about to show you at the bottom, but then they have this on the inside, so from the outside you can't see it, but then if you flip it to the inside, it has this little white tag which you can then pull on, and it makes it into a cuffed jogger. So you do have two for the price of one, which I think is quite a nice idea. I do actually like that they've done that, and I'll be honest, it took me a while to work out where the adjustability was because it said adjustable on the PDF and I was like, adjustable where? But I finally worked it out. So you can cuff them or you can wear them as like a straight leg. The inseam on mine when I measured them was 30 inches. So when these are straight leg, for me they're too short. Now if I do the cuff thing, it's completely fine and the length is fine, but at a straight leg these are too short for me. They don't work for me, they are too short for me. And for reference, that's because I wear all my trainers are pretty chunky, or I wear my Uggs, and I don't like something to be like skimming the top of my shoe. I want it to skim the floor, not my shoe. So I like to have something with a bit more extra length. Okay, sincerest apologies because I feel like that angle's just changed, but my camera keeps dying because I've been filming since like 10 to 10 and it's now 2 p.m. So yeah, we've been yapping for a long time. Just know whatever length this video goes up at, I've yapped for like probably 3.5 hours. I'm hoping I'm able to get it down, and my camera keeps tilting because why does it keep tilting? Oh my god guys, this is driving me insane. Why does it keep moving like that? It's just like a slow motion move to the side. As I was saying, even going up to a medium doesn't really work for me. I feel like these are much more suited to shorter people in terms of the rise for these. You can't just make it sit anywhere and then tighten a drawstring because there is no drawstring on it, which for me is a bit of an issue. I would always want a jogger to have a drawstring on it for that reason, because then you can sort of just make it sit wherever you want it to sit. If you pull it up to like belly button height, technically there's enough length for it to fit high-waisted, but with these being a medium, obviously my waist isn't a medium, so it just slides back down onto my hips. So I would say these hit sort of mid-rise on me, but they've definitely got like enough room in the crotch to be more of a high rise, but I would say lengthwise these are going to be suited to someone that's shorter, or if you are taller, someone that wants to wear it cuffed and wear it with the bottom adjusted so that it's tight, because then length doesn't matter as much. And then the fabric on the inside is the same as all the other pieces I've shown you. It's that ribbed sort of, it feels like a brushed sort of terry fabric. It's not rough on the skin, but it's also not as soft as like Origin, for example. The fit on these is oversized, but again, I have done a medium. I would say the width that I'm getting on a medium in these through the leg, especially through like the thigh and stuff, is quite similar probably to the width that I would get on a size small Origin pant. So if that helps, if you like a certain size in Origin, you might want to go up a size in these. But yeah, these are definitely more suited to short people. I feel like the outside of these is quite soft, so you will probably get the pilling, which you usually do get with Alphalete joggers. I don't know why, but they all do tend to pill. So I've not had them long enough to let you know, but they might pill. Alphalete joggers do tend to. It wouldn't be unheard of if they did start pilling. The only thing to mention from me, just from like a little like quality perspective, is like the back seam on mine is sewn very wonkily. It's sewn sort of at an angle, so I'm not super impressed with that because it doesn't look great. I mean, granted, the arse is so baggy that you can't really tell too much, but again, things like that do matter to me, and I'm a massive, I don't want to say snob when it comes to joggers. I'm just very particular when it comes to how I like my joggers to fit. You can try and size up for more length, but it won't help a ton. You'd probably need to go a lot of sizes up, and then you can't adjust the waistband, so do keep that in mind. If you go up too many sizes, you can't adjust it, so do keep that in mind. And then moving on, we've got the Trek sweatpants. Now these are much more, I mean, they're a size small, but also they're a lot tighter at the waist. Like everyone has said that these are tighter at the waist, even if they got the same size in the Trek and the cargo. They're very high-waisted, like they cover the belly button on me if I pull them up high enough, so they're nice and high-waisted, and again they've got the same details. The Trek sweatpants, however, the waistband is higher, like it's thicker by about, I think, ½ an inch. I'll check and let you know, but I think it's about ½ an inch. Tag on the front, the different rib around the back, which obviously I've already spoken about, front seam, back seam, and then these just have a pocket on either side, and then they are a wide leg jogger, like a lot wider at the bottom than the cargos, for example. Then these are a 30-inch inseam in the size small for me. I think if you size up, you do get extra length. I think Catherine said hers are a 31 and she got a medium, so I think in sizing up you do get extra length with these, but I got a size small. 100% size up in these. There's no adjustable drawstring on them, so you can't adjust them, and they are tight on the waist. Like these are very, very, very small on the waist. For me personally, I wish I'd got a size up. I wish I'd got a medium, because for me these are too short. Again, how I like my joggers to fit, they're just not going to be long enough when I've got a trainer on. I much prefer the length of like the athletic sweatpant or the Origin sweatpant from Alphalete. These are just a bit too short, and the waist is so snug on these. For me personally, I will always prefer a jogger with a drawstring. For me, the whole point of joggers is to be comfortable. You throw them on, you're not having to think about them. These are really quite tight on the waist, and it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. I would need to size up in these, and in general I would advise that you size up in these unless you are absolutely tiny in the waist and super short, but for me, I definitely should have taken a size up in the Trek sweatpants. They're much tighter at the waist, and if you are someone who has a similar preference in joggers to me, like you like things to be very comfortable, very oversized. Like, don't get me wrong, it's oversized through the leg. I wouldn't say it's as oversized as the Origin sweatpants, but it is oversized through the leg. But I just prefer how Origin fits me. Like, Origin just is my preferred fit. It has a drawstring, it has a better length on me, and in general I just prefer how those fit. I will say I do feel like the quality of these, especially with how they're lined, again with that same lining again, I feel like the quality of these does feel nicer, but I just much prefer the Origin sweatpants. I would say weight wise, if you were curious, these joggers, both these and the cargos, are like a medium weight jogger but on the lower end of medium, so like low to medium rather than medium to high. They're comfortable, they feel nice on the skin, but they're too short for me, and I just would prefer a jogger with an adjustable drawstring and one that's not so tight on the waist. So sizing wise, if you are picking these up, I would say these are definitely geared more towards shorter people, unless you are going to take a size up and get that extra length. And in general, I would recommend that you do size up in these, because the waistband is so snug in a way that I've never really had a jogger be like that before. yeah, and if you prefer more of a low-rise jogger, you're not gonna like these because they're very high-rise. Okay, finally, oh my god, I feel like I'm really losing my voice. My throat is killing me. But we've got the Force zip up. This is the last item that I've got for this drop. This is a new zip up that ALPHALETE are dropping. It is men's, but women can wear it as well. And I actually really like how this fits and looks. So I got it in a size small and a medium in Tuscan and ink. If you were curious about ink, I've got a black top on now. That's sort of how it looks next to black. It's like you know, that sort of browny grey black. That's the sort of colour it is. Hopefully that helps. But just to run you over the details, it zips all the way up in more of like a turtleneck style. So this can be zipped all the way up. I personally haven't been wearing them like that. I don't like how it looks. I've been wearing it just zipped down and then I flip the flaps over so it looks like a normal hoodie, and you can't tell it's meant to be worn like a turtleneck. It looks completely normal. You've then got the Force logo on the left hand side, which is this new split logo that they're doing, and it's sort of like a sticker. Not a huge fan of the logo. For me, it reminds me of, like, you know, the cartoon animation Cars. I don't know, there's something about it that's giving like racing track cars. It's just not my vibe. I much prefer like the Wolf logo, or just like the standard ALPHALETE logo, or even like the LDB. That could have been cool. I like when they use like the Unity, like the world sort of logo. This is probably one of my least favourite logos that they've done. There is some other subtle branding, but that's just a tonal raised wolf rubber logo on the right hand sleeve, like on top of the wrist just before the cuff. You've got a ribbed cuff around the sleeves. It comes with a hood. The hood is nice and thick and double lined. And then around the bottom, ribbed and cuffed at the bottom. And then the zipper, it's not completely tonal because obviously this is metal, but the rest of it is tonal, and it looks very discreet when it's zipped up, which I do like. Lining on this is the same as the athletic sweatpants from February or the hoodie from the February birthday sale. So it's that fleece lining. It's not brushed cotton, it's like a fleece sort of feel. And the weight of this is light to medium. I would say it's pushing medium because it's got that fleece lining, and also here along like the, do you call this like the lapel, or like the inside of like where the zip is, it's double lined here, and I feel like it just makes the hoodie feel a bit more expensive and gives it a little bit more structure and gives it a little bit more weight as well. You've also got two pockets which are super wide set, like you really have to bring your arms out to get them in, but once they're in, they're in. In terms of comparing this to the Origin or the classic zip, which are the same, this is totally different. So I'll show you a medium of this compared to a medium of the classic full zip. This fits more like a bomber jacket, like the bottom is more cinched, it's less of a straight fit, it's very oversized. I would say this is wider through the body, like especially around the chest. It's more of like a balloon look, the sleeves are more ballooned. But in terms of overall fit, the sleeves on this are shorter. Not as short as the two lounge pieces I've just showed you that I didn't like, but they definitely are shorter. In an ideal world, I'd want it a bit longer. And it fits more like a bomber. It's cinched at the bottom, and it is a bit shorter as well. The Origin or the classic zip is never tight around my bum. This, if I like fully pull it down, is tight around my bum and it doesn't cover my bum. So if you want a hoodie to cover your bum, you're not gonna like this one. It'll be too short on you unless you are really short. I'm 5'6" and it doesn't cover my bum. And I feel like this is meant to be worn with the bottom bit, like the cuffed bit, not shown. It's sort of naturally how it sits, it will tuck under itself and it just looks like a bomber jacket. By a mile, the best zip up hoodie that ALPHALETE have done. It looks a lot more expensive in my opinion, for my personal preference. The classic full zips and the Origin zips are okay, but they're nothing to write home about. They're very thin, they're very lightweight. The fit of them is just very standard. There's no structure to them, and in my opinion, because of how lightweight and unstructured they are, I do think they look and feel a little on the cheaper side. These look a lot more expensive, and they also just feel nicer, like that fleece lining feels so nice. I just wish that these were maybe a little bit longer so that people could get some bum coverage if they wanted it, and the sleeves were a little bit longer, and then this would be like perfect for like a hoodie to throw on. Now in terms of weight, like I've said, more like light to medium, but I definitely find these to be warmer than Origin or the classic full zips 100%, especially with that fleece lining. Shrinkage, these haven't shrank. I've put them in the wash on 30 degrees and they didn't shrink. And sizing wise for these, I would recommend you go a size up, honestly. The small is fine on me, but I do find the sleeves a little bit short. The medium is much better and the sleeves are pretty bang on. Like, they're not ideal. I would want them a little bit longer. I'm very fussy with sleeve length, I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty bang on in the medium. I like how it fits. It's a nice level of oversized. I get a little bit of extra length in the sleeves, a little bit of extra length, and just a bit more like balloonness to it. So for me personally, if you have a similar fit preference to me, I would recommend you go a size up in this, especially if you have longer arms or like a slightly longer body. I think you will prefer a size up, but if you're super short, you can definitely go true to size. But yeah, despite the logo, this is actually another top pick for me in this launch because the logo isn't that obvious with the way I wear it. If I was wearing it fully zipped up, it's a lot more obvious, but I feel like especially on the colours that I've picked it up in, it's not obvious at all, so I actually don't mind it. So I'm happy to look past it because I really do like the fit of this hoodie, but I do wish the logo was different. But it's still another top pick and honestly something that I probably would pick up. Okay, that's everything for this review. I really hope it's been helpful. I've been filming for so fucking long. I'm gonna edit this video and try and get it up as soon as I can for you guys, but hopefully I've not missed anything. If I have missed anything, please comment below or message me on Instagram and I will get back to you. I'm sorry for like having to use a ring light. It's been so foggy since 9 AM and the light like never lifted, so I've had to use a ring light, so I do apologise if it looks a little bit like I do prefer using natural light. So in terms of top picks for this launch, it is without a doubt the black core legging because it fits the best for whatever reason, and I just feel like that is going to be my go-to black legging. Whenever I want to put a black legging on, that's replacing my Aura for me. That's going to replace my ALPHALETE'S essentials that I've been wearing, Wonder leggings, whatever it is, that's replacing my staple black legging. So that 110%. And then the baby tees and the Force zip up as well, which I've just showed you, those would be my top pick. And if you're not going to want to wait for the long sleeve KDM zip as well, probably that as well. But yeah, code Amy will save you 10% off your order on the 19th and whenever you order if you want to use it. Please let me know if you do use it so that I can say thank you. My camera battery is about to die, so I'm sorry if this outro feels rushed, but I actually can't be bothered to charge my camera again, guys. I've been filming for like 4.5 hours. We've got to edit this video and get it up. Thank you so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to and you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. But I hope this video has been helpful. Any questions, please just let me know.